You still going on about that? You still going on about that? About that? You still going on 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 about that?
That was really good.
That's terrible.
No, I like that. That's I wish Christmas were every day now.
This is the gift that keeps on giving.
It is.
Like the Jelly a Month Club.
Right, yes, yeah.
All right, well, I'm Rob Israel.
I'm Joseph K.
And as this song you just heard, you still going on about?
That.
About that. You got a little jingle in the background of that too.
I'll put a little jingle bell in
So this, I guess we weren't going to do another Christmas episode.
Right.
But then we were trying to bounce ideas. What are we going to talk about next? And I guess, I think it's so lame to say it now.
Yeah, I agree.
It was like funny like 5 years ago. People were like started saying like this movie was a Christmas movie. Or it was funny 10 years ago when people started to say that.
Yeah.
Die Hard.
Right, Die Hard.
The best Christmas movie
of all time.
It's better than Jingle All the Way.
Yes. Better than the Santa Claus.
Oh, the trilogy. Santa Claus trilogy. And the Santa Claus movie from 85 starring John Lithgow.
Oh, okay, yeah, right.
It's a great Christmas movie.
Yeah.
It's funny, we talked about other movies this year that are not considered Christmas movies, but they take place during Christmas. Gremlins.
Oh, right. We did mention that a little bit. Yeah.
Die Hard's a Christmas movie. Gremlins is a Christmas movie. Especially the first one.
Well, it's funny. I went on the Wikipedia page this morning, and there's a brief section there that it's like the Wikipedia page for every film is basically the same. It's like, production, cast, synopsis, blah. But then there's a little blurb at the end, a section at the end of the Die Hard entry, and it says status as a Christmas movie. And they give it like a paragraph or two where they debate, like, is this a Christmas movie?
People have been like, I've been seeing pictures of like, Targets or Walmarts or whatever. People put the Die Hard in the Christmas section. Right.
Well, I guess last year, or maybe it was 2 years ago, the studio released a Christmas edition.
That's funny.
Yeah, and they had a trailer made.
So it's a Christmas movie.
Yeah, but the trailer was like tongue in cheek.
Do you think it's not considered a Christmas movie because same thing with Gremlins, or even we saw Shazam. Yeah, and Shazam takes place during Christmas.
Yeah,
but the movie came out in April.
Right.
Do you think it's because if it's not released during the initial release of the movie, if it's not released in November, December, it doesn't get considered truly a holiday movie, even though the settings of those movies are during Christmas.
Clearly Christmas.
Yeah, there's a whole bunch of movies like that have Christmas time. The joke is everyone says like almost all the Harry Potter movies are like Christmas movies.
Yeah, I can see that.
The Star Wars Christmas special.
Right.
Yeah. All right, well, before we get into Die Hard, we have other important things to talk about.
We do.
First things first, we're going to talk about Baby Yoda.
Right.
We've talked about Baby Yoda before.
Yes.
No one's talking about it. No one cares about it. It's like we're trying to give it as much attention as possible.
I feel like a lone voice in the wilderness.
There's a Baby Yoda out there, and no one cares.
Right.
I don't see images of it. I don't see people using GIFs.
Nope.
Like no one's using that perfect GIF of him holding a little cup.
Right. And people don't appreciate how adorable he is.
No.
I rarely hear.
Him off. They just like, what is that? Who cares? All right. Obviously, we're kidding.
Right.
You're listening to this and like, what are these guys from another reality?
No. Baby Yoda has captured the zeitgeist of 2019, and I believe he'll ride that wave into 2020.
I think he's to save humanity.
That may be the true Christmas story.
Yeah.
Like a little Baby Yoda.
Save the world. I was saying if people can convince the world that Bernie Sanders is Baby Yoda,
right,
we'll have Medicare for all
immediately.
Because people, all political ideologies or alliances or whatever, things that they will see Baby Yoda and they'll say Medicare for all.
Yeah, instantly. Well, yeah, Baby Yoda.
You could probably pass any crazy, not to say Medicare for all is crazy, but any legislation is possible.
Exactly. Yeah, equal pay.
So, an interesting about Baby Yoda, though.
Yeah.
You said, I'll let you tell what happened.
Right, okay, so I keep in touch with various people, and some of them listen to the podcast. And I used to be a teacher a million years ago, and a former student of mine named Tristan, who's a great guy. He's off at University of Miami now. He messaged me on Facebook, and he was talking about our Game of Thrones episode.
So he was burrowing through the archives.
Yeah.
I think that we did that episode in April, May.
April or May.
This isn't like we're not fresh, but we're just a couple months in.
Yes. It was like a time capsule.
We're not the well-oiled machine we're now.
Oh, no.
This is...
Although I do say, because I'll jump to this part in a second, but like I re-listened to a lot of that Game of Thrones episode. That was a good episode. It was like a nice mix of funny and serious and like actual commentary. And anyway, so we're talking about the episode, and as we're talking about it, the subject comes up that you mentioned months and months ago, 6 months ago, the notion of a Baby Yoda.
Yeah, I want my Disney. Pay me. Even though you probably had that already made because it had been working on the series for years.
Right.
The public didn't know that.
No.
And I must have. I don't know anybody who works for this thing. I have no connection. I didn't work on behind the scenes. I didn't get any secret information about a Baby Yoda. But yeah, I mean, we're gonna play. You know what? Let's play the clip.
Yes. Okay. So here's the clip. Right back from like April, May of.
I'm making the noise of like like remember.
Yeah.
It's like on Wayne's World when they go.
All right. Here's the clip.
Star Wars is this huge thing. Instead of going forward, they should go
in the
way
past,
back.
right.
Origins of the Jedi or something. Go way back and avoid all. And that way you avoid all references to Yoda.
Right.
Or maybe they could have Baby Yoda in it.
Yeah.
Where he's like...
Right. Like a Muppets Baby Yoda.
Like a Muppet Baby Yoda. Yeah,
that would be...
Yeah, that would be great.
Right,
and he should wear a diaper.
Yes.
He should literally wear a diaper and a bonnet.
And there should be like... you just see the legs and feet of like the babysitter or whatever, and he's always trying to get out.
Yeah.
To go on adventures.
Yeah.
Today I must go.
But I'm like, what is that?
But back then, you used the phrase Baby Yoda.
Yeah, what the fuck?
And you referenced the diapers, which you also referenced after we learned of the existence of the true Baby Yoda.
Yeah.
It's really kind of...
I mean, it's kind of funny, obviously, I cannot, what's the word? Canon?
Yeah, right.
I'm making a joke as if they went back in the past. Thankfully, the geniuses of season 8 of Game of Thrones are not working on a Star Wars movie. I don't know if... I'm always like wondering about those things. It's like they claim they're working on a different project.
Sure.
They are working on some different Netflix, right?
Yeah.
But I honestly think that Star Wars is like, especially after the Solo movie doing really poorly, and Episode 9 being like, who knows what's going to happen.
Yeah. They're
taking like a little breather with movies. And, they had all these plans. It was that Rian Johnson trilogy, the D.B. Weiss guys from Game of Thrones trilogy. And I think at season 8, I could just listen to that episode.
Yeah.
We go into it. I think just like same thing with like Last Jedi and all these other movies, there is legitimate criticisms of these, and then there's the douchebag criticisms that I'm just like, you gotta like take those with a grain of salt and always look at who the messenger is. And these people come sometimes with like an insidious agenda.
Well, they do. A Darth Sidious agenda.
Ooh.
Is what I'll say.
So, I think they're probably like, you know what? Yeah, would the D.B. Weiss guys done a great job on Star Wars trilogy? Who knows? Maybe. But you know what? If you're like Star Wars and you gotta like, Last Jedi didn't perform the way you wanted to, product's not selling on it.
Right.
You can still go to stores and it's just sitting there. Same thing with Solo. Solo was a dud in comparison. Right. I mean, it performed terribly compared to the other movies. Regardless of what you think of the movie, it doesn't matter. Yeah. The movie just bombed.
It didn't perform.
It didn't perform. And that's all Disney gives a shit about in the end.
Yeah.
Just like most movie companies do.
Right.
It's like It's like the people who make the joke about the release the Snyder cut. You ever hear that?
Oh, yeah.
They go on this whole rant, and it just become. I feel like it's just trolling, but it's like, do you really think Warner Brothers is gonna go back and add CGI to? Let's say there is this original Snyder cut.
Right.
Do you think Warner Brothers is gonna be like, okay, well, we lost a shit ton of money on Justice League.
Yeah,
and we made a shit ton of money on a low budget, not low, but in comparison, a low budget film. They made tons of money on the Joker.
Right.
They are not going to go back and make a Schneider cut release. No. Sorry, guys, move on.
I mean, if this were me, and I don't know the full details, but like I could see them re-releasing a Justice League special Blu-ray or whatever, and then including the Snyder cut. Without the CGI, it's just like the raw footage.
Yeah, I don't even think they would even do that.
Yeah,
it's not worth their time or effort, especially when you see the success of the Joker and how well it did, and they're like, we just made over $1 billion in a movie that required
like nothing,
next to nothing, no CGI.
I mean, I'm sure there's special effects at Party City.
I'm sure there's tons of CGI in the movie. We don't know, it's like subtle things,
right?
But not like. You don't have to have a guy who's a cyborg or like, winged men and everything. I know we're digressing and stuff like that, but I mean, like, it's just going on like how people respond to things. So I think Star Wars is probably like, we're just gonna get away from the DB Weiss thing. So I like to think that I'm sure DB Weiss is like, oh, we have another project to work on, but I think that's like Hollywood bullshit talk for they don't. They passed on us. They're like, you guys are. Even no matter how great of a project, how great you may do in this or whatever, you bring a controversy that we don't want. We want to make sure when the next movie comes out, it's whoever's making it does not bring any baggage. It's not blamed for ruining a series that everybody loved or claims they ruined it.
Well, it is. I mean, I guess we'll probably have a lot to say about that after we watch the new Star Wars. But it is, look, the Game of Thrones episode we did gets into that a lot. And a lot of this comes up in the first 15 minutes, 20 minutes of that episode, the Game of Thrones. And it's 100% worth going back and listening to. I listened to it on the way home from work today, most of it. And the episode...
You love listening to yourself?
Well,
listening to me, I tend to over-talk.
No, I like it. I mean, it's...
Smooth voice.
It's funny, like, I don't tend to listen, like, after I edit an episode, I usually edit the episodes, and in the process of editing, I listen to it a whole bunch.
But if somebody goes back in our archives and pulls out a gem that says, we created Baby Yoda. I created Baby Yoda.
Yeah, right?
I'm responsible for creating Baby Yoda. Somebody found that. They went back in time.
Yeah.
I bet you the Mandalorian was done. It was put in the can. They're like, we can relax. We can break in the summertime and chill.
Yeah.
And then somebody listened to probably someone in the Czech Republic that happened to work on The Mandalorian because everyone that listens to us, everyone that listens to us is in the Czech. And they heard our episode and they were like, Mr. Disney, whoever runs it.
It used to be Eisner. I don't know who it is now, but like
John Favreau, I think is the guy. Is that how you say his name? He's the one that produces it.
Yeah.
Stop the presses. Mandalorian's not done. Call back everybody on the set.
Get Herzog on the phone.
You know that baby Jar Jar Binks that you originally had, and you thought it was a great idea to bring Jar Jar Binks. You're like, this is going to save everything. Well, you're wrong. This is guy who goes on tangents, and he said something about Baby Yoda.
Right. That's what they probably did. And
they were like, fuck. And that was their summer. But you know what?
Hey.
It was well worth it.
Got 3 words for you. Baby fucking Yoda.
Yeah.
Baby fucking...
Yeah, you almost had Baby Jar Jar Binks.
Right.
You could thank me.
Right.
That thing would have been like, oh, Misa Puto. I mean, think about that anytime.
Yeah.
And Baby Jar Jar Binks would not be cute.
No.
Not like Baby Yoda.
No.
No, you can't make a Baby Jar Jar Binks cute.
Yeah. Well, we'll never come across anything as cute as Baby Yoda.
Well, that's, you know what? Baby Jar Jar Binks is hanging out with the Snyder cut.
Could be.
And you know where they're both hanging out? In the that vault in the end of Indiana Jones.
Oh yeah, right. I was going to say in that desert wasteland where they buried all those copies of E.T.
They uncovered that. They actually uncovered that.
Yeah, I remember
people paid like tons of money to get it was ridiculous. Yeah, and it's so funny. You hear about that for years,
And then
it gets done, and they find it, and it gets done. It's just a bunch of smushed copies. And you're like, in the end of the day, you're like... And it's funny, because it is like the Snyder Cut. It's like, everyone, I remember for years would bring up... I've heard about this for years.
Yeah.
It was like this one of these little things. It's like pre-internet that Atari buried millions of copies of E.T. in the desert.
Right.
And everyone... And then when it happened, it's just like... And they unbury it. You're just like... You go like this, and you're like... maybe that was a waste of time and money to do that.
Some
maybe,
mysteries are best left unsolved.
We just basically found a bunch of smushed trash.
Yeah.
It wasn't like it was well-preserved cases. Trash. It was just like somebody took a car and ran over it.
Yeah.
It looked like a bunch of old newspapers. Like, you could see the artwork of the E.T. box.
Right.
You know what? That's probably what the Snyder Cut's going to be like. Everyone's going to be like, release Snyder Cut, release Snyder Cut. And then you get it, and you're going to be like, oh, I wonder why... Warner Brothers hired the original Avengers director to basically reshoot the movie. It's like this funny thing is everybody always brings up no one ever brings up release the original Solo cut.
Right. Yeah.
I still want to know more about that movie. I would love to know what the original Solo is. I've seen little bits on it, but
that's what you're.
I heard that he's more like Jim Carrey in it.
Oh.
Yeah, no joke. I thought at first it was a rumor, but no, it got out that the performance that he was giving with the directors, they wanted to make it super goofy. I mean, these guys made a Lego movie.
Sure, yeah.
So I want, what? Release the Solo Cut.
Right.
Release the Miller Lord, is that the name? Solo Cut. I'm going to start that hashtag.
Yeah.
And also release Baby Jar Jar.
Right.
Because I know you guys are hiding that.
Yeah.
Because I created Baby Yoda.
Right.
And you went back and restarted it. Okay.
All right.
So, Baby Yoda theory.
Yeah. Okay. Right.
And I can't say I've been hearing this in the winds, and I don't.
Okay, sure.
It's like one of these things. I want to give credit to one person. I can't because I've heard somebody. I don't know the original source.
This is like when after Kennedy was assassinated, there's a bunch of theories.
Right, the magic bullet.
Right.
The theory of Baby Yoda, and this makes total sense.
Mm-hmm.
That maybe be revealed this season or later on. That he is really not a baby.
Right.
He's pulling a fast one because if you go by the age, let's say he is 50, right?
Okay, sure.
Yoda says that he's been training. He's over 900 years old.
Yeah.
But he's been training Jedis for over 800 years too. So that means that he was already a Jedi Master at 100 years old.
Right.
I know this is really stupid. And we know that Star Wars has never screwed up a storyline.
Right, they don't have a stellar track record on consistency.
Right. So but if they do for this one thing,
yes,
that means that Baby Yoda is fucking with everybody right now.
Right.
He is playing. He is really like a 12-year-old Yoda.
Right.
Like a 12-year-old kid or a 15-year-old kid. He's preteen Yoda. Actually, we're gonna find that out. He is doing to everybody what Yoda did to Luke when he met him with the whole mine.
Yeah. You told me this theory, and at first I was like, I don't know that there's any evidence. But then even before you broke down the math, you pointed back to Yoda kind of being a buffoon when he first met Luke.
And this, Yoda's small, and Baby Yoda's really small.
Right.
So he's this cute little thing, but you don't know how old he really, he's 50. He might physically still be like what's considered like a toddler.
Oh yeah.
He might be technically considered he might have the wisdom of a 50-year-old.
I would think so. And
he is fucking with everyone. There's little tricks in what he's doing. You saw the last episode with Jerry Blank?
Yeah.
Showed up?
Yeah.
That took me out of the episode. Seeing Jerry Blank kind of
everyone loved that, and I
didn't. I didn't like it. I love Amy Sedaris.
She's great.
But I did not care for the performance. I didn't care for it. Was I would have preferred if she was, because they're on Mos Eisley, if she was just a scumbag and actually held a gun to the Mandalorian in the end and wasn't just her. I don't know,
a heart of gold, hanging out
she
with
just
her.
her uterus grew 6 times its size when she's her Baby Yoda.
Well,
and she all of a sudden became its mother. And
it was so weird. She's a very recognizable person. If you
I didn't recognize her right away, but I recognized the voice. I was like, who the fuck is that? Because she had the crazy hair.
Right. And it was just like, it was weird. It reminded me of like those old 70s sitcoms where there's like a famous person.
Yeah,
and it's like,
it took me out of it.
B. Arthur appeared on Sanford and Son.
We got fucking. Yeah,
you know, I mean, it's just like a weird one where you're like,
it's like it's too much, you know.
Yeah.
And
I mean,
it would have been great. I would if she like in the end was like, yeah, this kid's worth something, and then the Mandalorian has to like kill her now.
If you saw like her slip a tracking device onto the ship or something, I mean,
right? It was like too. She ended up being too nice, but there's a scene.
Yes.
Because the funny thing about Baby Yoda is it's like how many times he's going to do this. He leaves him in the ship. And he's like, stay. And the little fuckers doesn't stay. He's not going to stay in the ship.
He's incorrigible.
And then I guess this time he was able to leave him because he was sleeping.
Right.
Which was adorable. And he leaves him sleeping and he goes. And you see Darius or Jerry Blank is hanging out with those little fucking robots from episode 1. Yep. Which is funny. Like, I don't like that movie, but when I saw those robots from episode 1...
Yeah, it was kind of cool.
I was like, it was like nostalgia. I mean, those movies are freaking 20 years old.
Yes, yeah.
So there's some nostalgia to it.
Oh, yeah,
you know, seeing those robots, and it was kind of cool to see them. And then you hear, she hears a rumbling in the ship. Right. And then all of a sudden you hear the same noise that Obi-Wan made when he was scaring the sand troopers. I mean, the sand people. Right. That weird, like, dragon noise. Yeah. He makes the same exact noise. And then it's like the cutest part of the whole episode when he comes down the stairs and he's just like, he's
all sleepy.
He's all sad. And he's like, Mama. But I really do think that he is, this is theory.
Right.
So, Disney, if you're going to rewrite episode 8 of The Mandalorian...
You're 1 for 1 on Baby Yoda stuff so far,
I made it exist. So, there you go.
Well, yeah, I like that theory.
It's going to be revealed that he's not really a baby.
Right.
Or is what we think is a baby. And he's going to talk.
Yeah.
And he's going to be a lot more of a formidable opponent.
Sure. Or ally or whatever.
Or more of a asset as opposed to a burden.
Yeah.
Like,
well, because right now he's like dead weight.
Well, he's just like he's got to protect him and everything. Right. But I think there's more. Obviously, there's more to him already. We've seen him lift a fucking
the
rhinoceros dinosaur monster that weighed like 8 tons or whatever, and he lifted that up with his little hand.
Yeah.
It was so cute.
Man.
And he also wanted to heal him.
Yeah.
So he has force ability, which you know.
Right.
But I think he's a lot more clever than we know. And
I would agree.
I think we're starting to get little hints. I think when he made that little dragon noise, that like a little scare tactic, because he probably woke up and he was like, "What the fuck am I?"
Right.
You know, weird noise. Also, who do you think is going to be the voice of Baby
Yoda? That's a good question. Voice of Baby.
If they had a voice.
Right.
It would just be like an unknown, or you think they'll get a celebrity?
Like Tony Randall, maybe?
Tony Randall's been dead for like 20 years. So it's going to be tough. I would love to have Tony Randall.
Dead for 20
years? He's been dead for quite some time.
All right. So
maybe not 20
Randall.
years, but definitely over like 15 years.
Right.
So if we go to Time Machine.
Right. Okay, well, voice. Okay, now Baby Yoda is.
You don't have to be serious. Not to put too much thought in. You just
who do you think's voice?
Tone Loc. He already was a baby on Baby's Kids.
Yep.
He's got a deep voice and perfect.
Right, goes down like a smooth whiskey.
Yeah, Mando.
Yeah,
and he'll be like, "What?" And that'll be how the show ends.
Right, I like it.
Or other people had. I think Patton Oswalt picked Gilbert Gottfried.
Nice.
And that's I don't like to pick the expected. You know?
Right. No.
I'm gonna go with my gut here. I think it's gonna be Tone Loc.
Yeah. Right. No, I think look.
Cool, Tone Loc.
If we're creating a pool here, that's not a bad pick to have.
Right. Yeah. Right. I mean.
Yeah.
And if somebody listens to this podcast before and you casted somebody, just like you went back and redid, like we said, redid The Mandalorian, you chucked the Jar Jar baby.
Yeah.
Went back, replaced it with Yoda baby because of
that
episode. You still have time to fire whatever famous voice you got.
Yep. Sorry, Scarlett.
Sorry, Scarlett. Sorry.
There's plenty of other roles that that you can take.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. Get Tone Loc on the phone.
Yeah, immediately. Stat. All right, so yeah, I like that. So,
all right, well, enough from Baby Yoda.
Yeah.
We'll be talking about that again.
oh, absolutely.
Okay, another thing before we get into Die Hard.
Yep.
Something else dropped, and we did an episode on it already.
Yeah.
Way back when.
Yeah.
Ghostbusters.
Right.
They just released a trailer for Ghostbusters Afterlife.
Ghostbusters Afterlife.
Right, which is a weird... I get it, it's a ghost, but it's like they're saying, like, hey, this franchise isn't dead.
Right. Look, I had been calling it Ghostbusters 2020, and there had been a hashtag for Ghostbusters 2020 that was, like, regularly used. I kind of I think calling it the movie's title plus whatever year you happen to be in is usually a bad idea. Like,
Well, the Ghostbusters 2016 was just called Ghostbusters.
Sure.
People call it 2016 because they didn't give it a freaking name.
Right.
Actually, they did give it a name on DVD.
Oh, what
or
was
Blu-ray. It was like Call of Duty or something.
Oh, yeah.
Or something, which makes no sense because there's a game called Call of Duty.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know if you ever heard of it.
Oh, yeah.
It's
Yeah,
famous
definitely.
franchise. Small game.
I may have won a few world wars. I don't like to brag, but
You've encountered a lot of racist 12-year-olds on there.
Yeah.
Yeah, this one. Let's just talk real quick about the trailer.
Yes.
We just rewatched it.
Mm-hmm.
It's tonal. Well, Ghostbusters 2016 was just a straight up reboot with women instead of the original. And the joke about that was, and I've heard other people say this, is that the movie was coming out summer 2016. Force Awakens came out in the winter of 2015.
Mm-hmm.
So Ghostbusters was already done. They weren't going to pull Mandalorian and replace Baby Jar Jar with Baby Yoda. So that's what I'm going to keep. I'm going to make that into an existence.
Keep saying it until it's true.
Keep saying it's true. Just like Donald Trump says about the wall.
Some people have been saying.
Some people have been saying.
Yeah.
The Baby Yoda was originally
created by
Rob Israel. Okay, so they were like, Sony must have been kicking themselves when Force Awakens came out because they just Ghostbusters 2016, which is a straight up reboot.
Yeah.
While Force Awakens was what we call a soft reboot, where it continues the story, but you start it from the beginning enough that you introduce everybody and you bring in the older characters into it, and that's what. So it looks like they've learned from their mistake. And when you watch the trailer, they should have called it Ghostbusters Force Awakens because it is like the vibe I'm getting off of this is straight up Ghostbusters Force Awakens.
Right. No, I agree.
Yeah.
No, it's like tonally different than what I expected.
Well, they got the kid from Stranger Things in it.
Yes.
It looks like Stranger Things. It's not in New York City.
Yeah, tonally, it was a lot different than what I thought it was going to be. And you're right, it has a super big Stranger Things vibe. If you had told me this was the trailer for Stranger Things Season 4, when that kid moves to a new town, I would have been like, yeah, this seems like the trailer for Stranger...
It's not that kid.
It's not that kid,
right.
but like...
It also gets vibes of it. It was total vibes of Stranger Things, too. And he was in it also.
Yeah.
He was the Bill Hader character.
Oh, that's right, yeah.
And clearly it's like you're introduced to these kids and they're like... They're finding all these different objects, and they're like, "What is this?" And it's a ghost trap,
right?
And clearly these kids have to be Egon's grandkids,
because
or related. Maybe it's Egon's. Maybe you know what? It's either grandkids or great uncle. Like, it's not. Yeah. It's gonna. They're gonna be related to Egon.
Yeah, and I think I've read that that's the case.
It's gonna be. It's clearly. I mean, the kid's got curly hair.
Yeah,
and the girl has curly hair and glasses.
Mm-hmm.
Duh.
Molds and spores.
Molds and... Oh, they even get fine. I love it. It's like we were talking about. Like, it's just a throwaway, goofy line from the movie. What does he say? What's the joke?
Well, in the original Ghostbusters, he's like, I collect... Like, the Annie Potts character asks him... Is like kind of flirting with Egon. Yeah. Which is funny, because he's
she flirts with him throughout the whole first movie.
Yeah, and he's the most socially awkward
That's the joke.
Right. And she asked him, like, what do you like doing, or something like that, and he's like, I collect
molds and spores. And I remember as a little kid watching it at the theater, just cracking up in that part.
Yeah.
It just sounded like, to me, like picking boogers or something.
Right.
And they do find his collection of molds
Molds
and
and
sports. But I really wish I want this movie to just be a straight up ripoff of Force Awakens.
Yeah, that would be awesome.
Like Paul Rudd's in it.
Yep.
So obviously the trailer is not trying to sell it to be a comedy as
Right,
much.
right.
But if you got Paul Rudd in it, it's going to be funny.
Do the math.
There's going to be some funny
Yeah.
parts in it. He's in Ant-Man. He's funny
He's
in it.
just- he's
Avengers
just funny.
Endgame. He was hysterical in that, and that was a serious movie.
Yeah.
I want a scene where Annie Potts shows up,
Right.
and
Like in a wheelchair and on oxygen.
right, not only that depressing.
Okay.
But she is the Maz Kanata
Oh, that'd
of the
be...
Ghostbusters, where the girl, not
Oh,
the guy,
that would be
the
good.
girl, the young girl, not the kid from Shrek.
Right.
He's the Finn. The girl is the Ray, and she gets the the ghost trap.
Yeah.
Or the ghost. What do they
Right.
call them? What are the fucking things they shoot? with?
Yeah, gosh. The
Proton
Proton packs, right?
And she's
Yeah.
like, this proton pack, it cold. No, you
Yeah,
got to do it
yeah.
in Annie Potts' voice. This proton pack, it calls to you.
I wonder if Annie Potts still
I'm no
alive?
Ghostbuster, but I known a couple
Right.
of Ghostbusters in my time.
Yeah. Yeah. She was like super... I remember when I was a kid and she was in Ghostbusters, I thought she was like super attractive. Like,
Yeah.
and,
Yeah. Yeah. She's supposed to be playing a nerd, but bullshit.
Right.
No way. She was hot in that.
No, yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Like,
But like, I want her to be. I want it to be her fucking grating voice from Ghostbusters.
Yeah.
But to the Maz Kanata lines.
Right.
Play, just rip it off.
Yeah.
And they even already hinted that Gozer's in it. So they're just going to be like, hey, we're fighting another Death Star. We're going to fight another Gozer.
Yeah,
Hey,
yeah.
Gozers, we've done... Bill Murray will show up. He's going to be the Han Solo
Yeah.
of the movie.
right.
And
He'll
he's
get
going to be
killed
like...
halfway
And
through.
he'll be like, Gozers, we've taken Gozers on before. We can do this. And Dan Aykroyd will show up too, Winston, and Winston will be like, I'm
Yeah.
too old for this shit, even though that's a character from a
Right.
different movie series.
Yeah.
But people won't know the difference. They'll think
Right.
he's Danny Glover. Who
Yes.
cares?
That would be great.
And yeah, you can say, I'm too old for this shit.
Yeah.
And one of them could be like...
And he's going to retire like in the next day or
Yeah.
something. Like,
And,
yeah.
and then, yeah, he's retiring.
Right.
Always.
He's got like a
Always
week to
retiring.
go.
This is a different actor from a different movie. This is kind of racist. It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
But just blend
Right.
all the franchises
Everything together.
And Bill Murray will be in it, and and he's gonna be the Han Solo, and he's gonna get killed by an evil. What was the baby's name from Ghostbusters 2?
Oh.
Dana's
Yeah.
son.
It was a weird name.
Frank. Oh, it was Oscar, and he said because
okay.
he said you were named after a
that's
wiener.
right. Yeah, yeah.
It's like, oh, you were named after a wiener. And Oscar's gonna be like in the Kylo Ren of the movie,
Right.
and he's gonna kill Bill Murray.
Yeah.
And-
I think this...
with a proton pack.
Yeah, this script writes itself.
Yeah, I mean,
you know?
fuck it, just copy and paste Force Awakens called Ghostbusters Afterlife.
Yep.
And everyone will like it, and they'll complain, and they'll say something like, This is the same fuck. I saw this fucking movie already when it was
Right.
called Ghostbusters.
Yeah.
And then there'll be a sequel called Ghostbusters: The Last Ghostbuster,
Right.
where the girl
Yes.
hands the proton pack.
Oh, that'll piss them off. Yeah.
Because the end of the movie ends with where she goes to a apartment in Queens.
Oh,
she
yeah,
travels
yeah.
all the way to take kissing them. This
Yep.
is still Earth.
Right, right.
That she travels from wherever.
Yeah.
Fucking, they're supposed to be like where in Oklahoma or something.
So it
I
looks
don't know.
like it, yeah.
They could be in upstate New York.
Right.
But I lived in New York all my life. I went to upstate New York like one time.
Yeah.
And so I could see the journey. So she travels from
Across the Tappan Zee Bridge.
Tappan Zee Bridge. She finds an apartment in Queens.
Yep.
And there's a guy standing, facing the back,
Yeah.
turns around, and it's Rick Moranis.
Yeah.
Rick
Oh,
Moranis,
that'd
and
be
she's
great.
holding the proton pack to Rick Moranis.
Yeah.
And Rick Moranis just stares at her, and he's just like looking really serious. As serious as Rick Moranis could look.
Yeah. Yeah, that would be
And then
great.
the sequel, it begins where he chucks the thing, and he goes and he milks the tit of a Slimer.
Yep.
He drinks green Slimer
yeah.
tit milk, and he looks at her with his fucking
Yeah.
beard, and it'll be great. Fuck
Yeah.
it, just copy.
I think that's really good.
Yeah, I think this is...
Well, I mean...
I like the idea of Rick Moranis, though, turning around and, like, being like Luke Skywalker.
It's funny because I actually thought of Rick Moranis today, which I haven't in like a long time.
I mean, I'm always thinking about Rick Moranis. So
Well,
this is good that we're syncing up finally.
Normally, when I think of Rick Moranis, I immediately have to go to Google and Google both him and Peter Scolari and try to figure out who is.
I never mix those two up.
Who am I really thinking of? But I was listening to holiday music today because they play it at work for all day, and the Bob and Doug 12 Days of Christmas came on, and it was Rick Moranis.
I don't think I ever heard that.
Oh no, it's like on the first day of Christmas, my true love gave to me a beer, and then like they just get beer like the whole time. It's funny. So. Well, anyway,
Sure.
I liked the trailer. I'm kind of look. This is not the trailer.
It was a very little information was given to us.
Yep, it was a teaser, a very long teaser.
Yeah.
This wasn't the trailer I expected. It wasn't the trailer I wanted, but
Is
I
it the
kind of
movie
like
you
it.
even want?
No, I mean like, but I'll tell you this is like, I guess here's how I'll leave it. I'm more interested in seeing the movie now than I was prior to having seen the trailer.
I'm glad to see it not be a straight up comedy.
Yes.
I'll talk about one thing that's kind of funny. That we were talking about this before we start talking about the podcast was in the trailer though, and it's just like the same thing with Force Awakens,
right?
Where they talk about these things of legend, like they show like some. It's funny too because it's the serious archival news footage of the Ghostbusters walking down the street, which is funny how it's shot. Again, this movie just looks much more. It looks like a serious film. Like they're not playing this for laughs. Like the new one with Leslie Jones, like that one was that was a goofy movie, and it was like. We're just gonna make this a screwball comedy.
Right.
But this one, it's like, no, we're taking this franchise seriously. There'll be jokes in it, and maybe that's gonna be for the best. I don't know. But they show them walking down. They're like, oh, that really happened? And I'm like, okay.
Right.
So obviously we live in a world where 9/11 happened.
Sure.
But let's say you live in the Ghostbusters universe.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
And a 100-foot tall marshmallow man.
Mm-hmm. Stay puffed.
Stay puffed. You gotta make that clear. Not just a regular ordinary
right.
man, but a stay puffed marshmallow man. Walks down Manhattan for like I don't know how long, and destroys New York City.
The living fuck.
Every area it walks, it crushes, it kills people. It steps on a church in his town.
Yeah.
That was a line. Nobody steps on a church in my town.
Right.
I didn't know Bill Murray was so religious.
No.
I didn't think of him to be that religious.
Yeah. Well, that of course, like. It's inconceivable.
He was like,
that
listen, I may always carry a hypodermic needle that knocks women out, but I respect places of faith.
Yes.
That's what he was saying.
Yeah. Well, it is. It's like, it's inconceivable that they wouldn't have recognized that as having really happened.
Like,
like
holy shit, that happened.
Right.
But it's funny, though. I'm at this, though. Again, they're like, let's say the kid's like 15, the girl's 12.
Yeah.
I'm just going to throw that out there. That's when I see that, I go, okay, that kid's 15 and she's 12.
Yeah.
I bet you if you asked a 15 or 12-year-old today, if they weren't taught about it or anything, do you think they even know what 9/11 is?
Well, that's a good question. I remember...
I mean, it's almost 20 years ago.
Well, I used to teach English and history, and I was always stunned. Every year we read On the Rainy River, which is a short story from a collection by Tim O'Brien, The Things They Carried. It's about the Vietnam War. And part of this is like the draft. They talk about getting drafted. Not a damn kid believed that the Vietnam draft happened. I mean, it wasn't like...
go ahead.
It wasn't like they didn't believe it happened, but they had never heard of it. When it was explained to them,
How
they
old are
didn't...
these kids?
Well, they're 14, 15 years old. A lot of
Okay,
them would have
again,
been born
I'll
in
give
2004 or 5.
I'll give them the benefit of the doubt there. I worked with a girl who was in her mid-20s, mid to late 20s, and I brought the Gulf War. Not the George W. Bush one. And she had no fucking clue what I was talking about.
Oh, yeah. Like
she was like, she literally like rolled her eyes at me and was like, what? And I'm like, you don't know what Desert Storm is? And she's like...
You know, that's one that happened in 91, something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I was like blown away by it. She literally had no clue. So, in this world...
Yeah, I guess.
I mean, in the 80s... Yeah, there's probably footage of it, but you could probably be like, did this really even happen?
Yeah.
Where a fucking marshmallow man walked down the street, and then the Statue of Liberty got up, if they count. I wonder if it's gonna be like one of those movies where
It's like a direct sequel to the
Wait,
first
this
one.
is the second one didn't happen. You know, they're gonna pull some Terminator bullshit or
Well, the second one was
Like-
legit. Of course, the second one happened.
right, especially because Oscar's gonna come back evil and kill
Yeah.
Vakeman.
Right.
You
Peter
know,
Venkman,
like
yeah.
you know, Han Solo Force Awakens style. I mean, that's the plot.
Well, I'm curious to see this new one.
It's like, I knew you were just a waiter, and as he dies, as he kills him.
Well, this would be a good place to transition from one Han Solo, to another Hans Gruber. See how seamlessly I made that transition? That was like fucking butter.
Is she first?
Yeah, right. Yeah, Hans Gruber shot first.
I really like the Hans Gruber Jabba the Hutt scene.
Yes.
You know, I didn't.
Where Hans Gruber stepped on his tail.
Yeah, he's like,
what an
Jabba the Hutt.
awesome name for a villain, Hans Gruber.
Yeah.
You know, because it's like vaguely like it's got that Germanic kind of like, you know, he's probably not a Nazi, but like maybe another day.
They're not British. They're not. You know, it's East. Like it's European. There was like a funny thing. There was like a series of that. Do you remember? Like, it was like a lot of villains from that era, and like even in the 90s, like they had these like British guys playing, kind of. They're not German. They're not. It's like in that realm of area. They have like that type of name, you know. Sorry, Hans Gruber does not sound like a nice guy.
No,
you know, like
Gruber. I mean, it just sounds.
It's like a daughter, whatever. It's like bringing home a guy. She, you know, let's say, okay, about the Pixies is a year from now.
Right.
The Pixies like, I want you to meet a guy I've been dating for a long time. And you're like, oh, I can't wait to meet him.
Yes.
What's his name? Oh, his name's Hans. And you're like, what?
Hans?
Hans Gruber.
And all I'm thinking is like Hans Groper. You know?
That's another problem in itself.
Right. Like your name is Hans Groper.
Why would you date a guy named Hans? It's spelled. It's spelled Hans Groper. Like,
didn't I tell you about my friend Clyolator?
There's a D in the name. Right. Groper. It's literally just spelled that way. But no, there's 2 dots on the O.
Yes, right. The little umlaut.
And the D is silent.
Well, okay. So Die Hard. That's our movie.
Yeah, I guess we finally got there.
Yeah.
And again, debating, is this a Christmas movie? Sure. For this episode, it's a Christmas movie.
It's a Christmas movie. I will say, look, prior to anything else, Die Hard is absolutely one of my favorite movies. It's one of the movies where if I'm flipping around channels and it's on, that's it. It's like a Venus flytrap for my attention.
I is. Yeah, I mean, I rewatched it the other day. It's funny. I watched a weird version of it.
Okay.
I found it on demand. It was on the El Rey network, which I guess I get. And
okay.
It was on demand, and I was like, oh no, it's gonna have commercials, but it didn't have any of the commercials, and it had all the curses, had all the violence.
Oh, okay.
But it felt like it was edited for TV because it would have, even though there's no commercials, it would go black for like 2 seconds.
Oh.
Where there would be a commercial. So the movie, like, I wished I found a version of like a seamless version.
Theatrical.
Because I remember seeing like this on cable and TV for years. I didn't see it in the theater. It's on video and cable. And it never had those odd transitions.
Yeah, I watched it. I rented it via Amazon. I don't remember it having like those odd.
Yeah, it was not normal. I was like, okay, this was like if this was on. I guess El Rey shows commercials. I have no idea.
Yeah.
So whatever, but it was not edited. It wasn't edited out. It wasn't like when I saw National Lampoon on A&E or AMC and they edited out shitters full.
Right. Yeah.
Best line in the whole movie.
Well, I saw Die Hard in the theater when it came out, and I remember this pretty clearly. This was like a time in my life. It was like, when did this come out? 88? Yeah,
I think 88.
So I was probably just out of high school. I was attending community college in Fort Myers, Florida, and I saw a lot of movies.
I was 10.
Well, I was like...
I was going into junior high.
Yeah, I was like 18. I had my own car. I had a job. I had like money, and I was like living the life. king of the hill. And we used to go see movies all the time. We'd get a six-pack, and it'd be a couple of us. And I remember a friend of mine, Dawn, had like this huge purse, and she'd put a bunch of beers in her purse. We'd go see a movie, and we'd just like drink beers in the middle of the day and watch movies. And I had to kind of be dragged to see Die Hard. I had no interest in seeing it. Didn't look good. I loved Moonlighting, and Bruce Willis was in Moonlighting.
Right.
But the movie just looked stupid. It didn't look like the kind of thing I would want to see. I saw it, and I loved it. I thought it was like an amazing...
It is definitely an anomaly. And the funny thing about it, having Bruce Willis in it, it's like, yeah, he was famous for Moonlighting. I think he did like one major movie before that.
Right.
Which was basically a romantic comedy called Blind Date.
Yeah.
Did you ever see that with, what was the woman's name? She's the first Batman movie. Married to Alec Baldwin for years.
Yeah, Kim Basinger.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That movie, I remember seeing that, like, either on video cable. I remember seeing the commercials. I just remember, I'm like 9. Like, why do I want to see this fucking movie?
Right.
It's about a guy who goes on a date with a girl, and it starts out normal, and then he accidentally... It's actually... Okay, we'll talk about this movie real fast.
Yeah.
Blind Date is definitely worth watching, but let me tell you, if it came out today, I can't say it aged like fine wine.
Right.
Some things in that movie. I'll give you an example of a problematic scene. I think it's fine.
Yeah.
But some of you SJWs might find a problem with it.
Yeah.
But that's fine.
Sure.
Yeah, whatever.
Tolerance.
Okay. Tolerance, Tolerate my intolerance, okay? Like, when you... the so-called tolerant left or that line? I can't stand that.
Fuck that.
Yeah. So... The plot of the movie is he goes on a date with her and starts out normal, but I guess she drinks a little too much.
Yeah,
she reacts really bad to alcohol. I think
she gets like blackout drunk or something,
or she just turns into like a nightmare. And they have this horrible date, and they end up. The movie's pretty funny. It ends up at all different kinds of places, but for some reason, I guess he falls in love with her. I don't know why. And then something happens in the plot. I don't remember what it was, but I guess she was. You find out she was like engaged or gonna marry another guy.
Yeah,
and so he wants to break up their wedding. He sneaks into it's obviously like a really rich person that she's gonna marry. He sneaks into like this country club, or whatever. He has either he brings a box of chocolates or he finds a box of chocolates.
Right.
He has a hypodermic needle.
Oh fuck.
Peter Venkman style.
Right.
Classic Peter Venkman style. Or a guy with a hypodermic needle. That's going to do something to a woman, might be considered problematic.
It is.
I mean, but he loved her. So he
there is a true love clause. Yeah, that exempts you from a lot of questionable behavior.
Then the courts, you have a powerful scene in the judge. The judge, who's usually played by an elderly black woman.
Yes, right.
Who starts off stern.
Yeah, but then has like a magical quality to her that just melts hearts.
Yeah, she's like, you know what? I know what love is like. Mm-hmm. And you have melted this old soul's heart.
Right. And then like they bust in with Foreigners, I Want to Know What Love Is or something. There's like some,
Wait, what?
Isn't that the song like Foreigner? Who sang?
I thought you said they bust in with Foreigners. I'm like, God.
No. Like who sang that? Like
I don't like this podcast.
I want to know what love is.
That's foreign. I
think that's Foreigner.
Yeah, but some kind of bullshit romantic. Everyone claps.
Right.
And then they start having sex in the courtroom, which is really inappropriate.
Right. That's like you're thinking of the Red Band trailers for those.
So he spikes her candy, her chocolate with liquor.
Yeah.
Or whatever. Then she eats a couple, and then she gets super drunk and fucks the wedding up.
Yeah.
Because her magical power is to be a really horrible drunk.
Yeah.
And he knows how to aim. It's like the Hulk, in the Avengers movie. The Hulk is like a nightmare, but then eventually, if you aim the Hulk, he's like a really big gun. You just got to aim him right. And when he comes down, he punches that big dragon monster from space.
Right, the sugar or whatever.
Whatever the fuck. It's like the same thing. Ken Bashner, he just aims in the right place. And
slips through the funky Cole Medina.
Yep, and he destroys their wedding.
Yeah.
So somebody saw that movie and said, I got a big budget movie I want to make with... and it involves a guy trapped in a building and he has to take on terrorists. Do they want to get the guy from Moonlighting? No, I want to get the guy from Blind Date. And the
Yeah,
guy's like, no, that's the same guy.
Same guy.
Is he gonna spike candy and get a woman drunk against her will? No.
No deal.
We'll have to call his agent because Bruce Willis will only star in movies where he gets to spike candy.
Yeah.
With alcohol.
Well, I'll tell you.
I can't say that's what he does, but
I did a little deep dive on Die Hard over the last few days.
dive hard.
Yeah. And I some of this I wish my memory were better because like some of this I kind of knew and some of this I had forgotten and some of this I probably didn't ever know. Bruce Willis was like their 40th choice for this role.
Yeah.
And do you know who it was originally offered
There's
to?
a whole list. Like there's a show on Netflix right now.
Oh,
They do Toys
yes.
That Made Us. They
Right.
have another show they just released called The Movies That Made Us, I think it's called.
Mm-hmm. Sure.
And they did a movie thing on Die Hard, and they listed a bunch of names.
There's going to be Sinatra first.
Yeah, well, because
Frank Sinatra.
I guess Die Hard is based on a novel series,
Yes.
and the book came out. The book was taken. I guess he was in the original movie,
Yeah.
and it was in the contract
Right. They had
that
to
he had
offer it.
to him, and he was already like in his 60s.
He was 71 years old. And they're like, Mr. Sinatra. And like, you know, Sinatra's
You're gonna
like...
step on broken glass,
Right.
You're gonna.
They knock on the door. He's like railing Nancy.
And
Nancy Reagan.
We're talking Nancy Reagan, not
Yeah.
Nancy Sinatra.
Right, yeah, we make that
That's
clear.
a whole nother problem.
And so, like, you know, they're knocking on the door, and Nancy's getting, like, done over by Frank, and he's...
Fucking bitch.
And Frank graciously declined, but then they offered it to, like, 30 other people, like Ernest Borgnine.
How many other weird old
The guy who
men
played
can we
Gomer
ask?
Pyle.
That William Hickey from National Lampoon's
Charles
Your
Nelson
Favorite
Riley.
They go through the whole list of gay comedians from the
Right.
70s. They asked Poland.
Yeah,
He might have been
Poland.
dead already. I'm not sure. They
Yep.
asked Rick Taylor.
Yes, yeah.
Yes.
I think Dom DeLuise got a call.
Yeah, and
So
he was like, "Did I get to eat a lot of food and sing
Yeah.
manja?" And they're like,
Right.
"No." And he's like, "Out of here."
right.
And then he took on the role of Pizza Hut.
Yeah, but then
busy filming Pizza Hut.
they finally get to Bruce Willis, and they weren't sold on him. And like a lot of the early advertising didn't even feature Bruce Willis.
He's like, "I play a harmonica."
right,
in a band.
and them 501 blues, right, and the
Yeah.
the Bartles, the Seagram's Golden Wine Coolers. Like he was an amazing singer for like jingles or something. But yeah,
You know what? That movie, like, made him.
oh hell yeah!
I mean, he was already like somebody who, if given the right role, he would have been somebody
Yes.
anyway. But this movie, like, my God, I mean, he went from Moonlighting, which was popular, and like I said, Blind Date did not make him a
No.
movie star. The movie, I think, I don't even know why I even brought it up.
Well,
Because
no, but
like, from I vaguely remember it.
But he was on the periphery of Hollywood. But like
Yeah.
Moonlighting was like a legit
He was still considered a TV actor.
TV actor.
He was
And
not
this
a movie star at
right.
all.
And this was back when TV was TV and movies were
Yeah,
movie.
and
it was never the
there's
twain
so
shall
many
meet.
stories of like actors getting too big for their britches and
Right.
leaving successful TV shows, going into movies and failing miserably.
Right. We call it the Caruso effect. We call
And
it-
Shelley Long is another
yeah,
example.
that's a great one. That's a great example.
I mean, did she fail? I don't know. She's always been in stuff. She was like in the Brady Bunch movie, but that was years
Right.
later. But I don't think she didn't splash the way she was.
No.
She just crashed.
But I'll tell you, man, like Bruce Willis was like amazing in that.
Well,
and he was
the other
just-
thing too is TV shows back then.
Mm-hmm.
I think even the producers, they were more brutal. They had more brutal schedules. I think they produced. If you like watch all the shows, there's some seasons where like 25 episodes a season.
24 was
Yeah.
a norm.
Right. Like on Cheers.
Yeah.
I was like watching. I'm like this season. I was like rewatching a lot of Cheers episodes. We're like, wow, season 4 had like 26 episodes.
You're gonna
which was
binge
like,
Cheers. Buckle up.
yeah,
you know?
but it's like no, some of the seasons, and it's like I feel like today it's a totally different thing. You could have actors and TV, cable, and then they'll go do a movie. I mean, the fucking Rock was on 5 seasons.
Oh yeah, of that Ballers. Yeah.
And while he's doing all these huge Hollywood movies, it's
Right.
like.
Well, Moonlighting was a great show. I mean,
I was like kind of too young to really get into it, but
I was like the
my
perfect.
mom liked it.
Yeah, I was. That's a pretty brutal takedown of me.
well, you're not at my mom's age, but
But it was when
My
I watched
grandma
it.
liked it.
When I watched
My
it,
great grandma.
it was perfect because I was old enough to kind of get it, but young enough to feel like I was watching an adult, sophisticated show.
Yeah.
They took like weird risks. They did an episode in iambic pentameter. They did like weird episodes where it was like quirky little fun things that they would do. And he had like...
Did he take Sybil Shepherd? Sybil Shepherd, right?
Yeah.
Does he take Sybil Shepherd to a porno theater?
No, that would have been great.
Like in Taxi Driver?
Right,
And she's
yeah.
like, here we go again.
Right? Where have I seen this? No, but like...
Why does this keep happening to me?
But it was like you could tell like it was not just a TV show. It was like a unique kind of experience. So when he made the leap to movies, it kind of made sense to me at the time. But man, he was good because he wasn't. I mean, he's a handsome guy, but he wasn't like movie star handsome.
Right, he's like
He was-
normal. Like, it's funny, it's like he's already balding.
Yes.
You already, he's got it's like he's not bald yet, but
And he didn't try to hide it.
You could tell this man will not have hair in the future.
Right. Yeah.
Right. It's got that weird, like, kind of widow's peak
Yep.
thing, and it's like...
And Rogaine was years in the future at this point.
But
right?
he I will say this, Bruce Willis, I will give him, if there's one thing that he's successful with, is that people used to do pathetic things like comb-overs.
Yes.
He made balding almost like a even knowing him, I would tell people, like, you don't need to grow those puffs.
Yeah.
And like try to do
Comb-overs.
that. No, like he said, you know what, as long as your head's not misshapen completely,
Right.
you could just shave it down to the point, but it's just like a little hair.
Yep.
Like you put enough that no one will know that, like, I'm bald by choice. Or,
Right.
Or it's like he made it like, it's okay.
And this was like a
It's okay.
decade or two before
Yeah.
Picard came onto the scene. So like, it's just,
But even Picard had side hair.
yeah, right.
Like
True.
he made it that it was like, and I even said this too. If like I start seeing like a bald patch or anything like that, or I'm just gonna shave it down.
Oh yeah.
I'm not gonna do this like
Fuck that. Right.
I'm not gonna try to save it.
No.
I'm not gonna be 1995 Giuliani.
No.
Or comb over as we call
Or
them in
2019 Trump.
well, his is like a fucking, I don't know what the fuck that
It looks
is.
like someone threw orange dye into a cotton candy machine and then like
I
a
think
grenade.
what his hair is it's not a comb over, it's a complete pullover. Like, it's like, he is completely bald on top, and they literally pull, if he let his hair down,
Right.
it would be like longer, it'd be like, Ben Franklin. Like,
Yeah, it would be.
Ben Franklin.
Yeah.
From the
right.
from the cocaine
From the
utensil, the $100 bill.
Yeah.
He, it would be like something. He probably has hair like that, and then he just like kind of pulls it all up,
Right.
and hairsprays the fucking shit
like
out
a
of
colonial dandy. Like a colonial
it. Powdered wig, like,
Right.
He's just an orange
Right.
fop. Oh,
Well, okay, so Bruce Willis was like he was so funny. Like he like
he's great in the movie. He's funny.
Yeah.
He's like the movie is, and it's funny too because this is like '88, and you already had like old Arnold Schwarzenegger movies.
Yes.
Commando and Predator.
someone said this was like the rumor was this was a sequel to Commando.
What?
Yeah, there's a school of thought. Now it's been debunked by like the people that were involved in the film and all that.
Being that it was technically a sequel to a Frank Sinatra film.
Yeah.
Because it's part of a book series.
It was
So,
a
yeah.
book. The guy saw. I think the guy who wrote the book saw the Towering Inferno and said this would be cool, but like as a heist, like more of like a straight up
Yeah.
heist thing. But yeah, I mean, like a lot of people thought this was kind of a follow up to Commando, and it wasn't. And there's again, I think I can't remember if this was on the Wikipedia page or if I was on like Roger Ebert's History of Film page or whatever. But they said that like Die Hard was a real turning point in films. Like before then, you had like more straight up action films,
Yep.
and then here you had what was essentially like an everyman.
Yeah, he's an everyman. I mean, he's a
Right.
cop, but he's like...
He was
he's thrown in
separated
an
from his
impossible-
wife.
Yeah, he's in an impossible situation. He's like tired.
Yep, he's weary.
The plot, and we talk about this, and it's funny because I never picked up on this until I rewatched it the first time.
Yeah.
And it's like, it's funny when we talk about these movies, and to make sure to rewatch them.
Right.
And I'm seeing them now. These movies that, I saw 20 years ago. I haven't seen Die Hard in definitely over a decade.
Yeah.
remember him being on the plane, but I don't remember that conversation.
Oh, yeah.
When the guy talks about after he does a plane ride, he likes to basically unwind, take his shoes off, and walk around bare feet on the carpet. And it's like foreshadowing to what's going to happen to him later in the movie because he does take his shoes off.
Yes.
And then he's fucked. He has no shoes for the whole fucking movie.
Right.
And he pays for it horribly.
Walks over broken glass.
Yeah, and that's that gross scene when he pulls the glass out
yeah.
with his foot, and then when he jumps off the building with the explosion, he swings and he smashes into the glass, and you just see the blood smashing with his one foot, just like
it's rough,
like a jelly donut. It's disgusting.
Apparently in the book, the guy was older, and it was kind of cool, like the way they.
Well, it was supposed to be Frank Sinatra.
Well, yeah, but he was like a World War II guy. His wife had left him and then died, and he was sad about that. And he was
really old.
He was trying to reconnect with his daughter,
right?
And it was his daughter was having an office party, and it was like strongly implied in the book that if the guy had just fucking settled down, no one would have died. But as a result of him like popping off and like trying to save the day, a ton of people died.
Oh,
like in the book,
funny.
Yeah, and it was kind of like.
You mean like when the NRA sells the what was it? The good guy with the gun.
Good with the gun. Yeah.
And the joke is the cops are like, we don't know the difference of the good guy with the gun. You're probably gonna kill more people.
Right, and that was it. Like that was the thing of the book is like, dude, this guy, these people, and in the book it was like the German autumn or something. It was based on a real terrorist group that was in Germany in the 70s, and the whole premise is like these are bad people stealing money from other bad people. If you just like chilled the fuck out,
let them do their thing, get the fuck out, and everybody will be alive.
It's like if I'm in a bank and they're gonna rob the bank, you know what I'm gonna do? Like just put my head down.
Yeah, they're insured.
Right. Let me know when you're done. I'm out of this. I'm not like
who robs banks anymore?
Yeah,
like that anymore. Now they do it like through the phone.
Bitcoin.
AOL.
Yeah. So, but
whatever
anyway,
the kids are using these days, I don't know.
Bruce Willis was like great in this. It was like a great movie, and that thing I was reading is like, look, there's a bunch of movies before Die Hard, and then you had Die Hard, and Die Hard for like 10 years changed movies.
Do you know what's funny? You know what came out? I think at the same year. You ever see 3 O'clock High?
Is that the one where they're gonna fight after school?
Yeah, the guy basically.
That was a great
he's
movie.
like this kind of. He's not like a loser. But he's just like a kid who's just like he's not popular in any way.
That used to be on TV all the time.
Yeah, I love that movie. But when you watch that movie, it's like you think of it as just like a high school movie. It is so fucking different from any high school. It is
you're right.
It's like artistic actually. Whoever made that movie, like there are shots in that movie. Like it is not a normal high school film.
Man, I haven't seen that in like
I highly
years.
recommend you watch it. It's like, and we should do an episode on it. But it's funny how you bring that up because it's like Die Hard to me. It's like almost the same thing. It's like It's like the end. It's almost close to the end of a decade,
right?
And you've had all these type of movies, and a lot of these generic. And it's been like a generic. Same thing with action movies.
Yeah,
there was like generic high school movies, and you had and they all follow the mold. And this one, when you watch it, you're like, I think I'm watching a high school movie, but I'm really watching something else. There's more to it than that. And Die Hard's like the same thing. It's like I'm watching an action movie, but there's a lot more to it. It's like the freaking Alan Rickman is amazing.
Yeah,
like, this makes his
career.
What was he in before this? Was he in like anything like American or like?
No,
he was like literally like an unknown before this movie.
I think I read that this was his first big American movie. He may
have
been.
He was older too. He wasn't. I mean,
no, he was. Yeah, I think he was established by the time as like a film and theater actor.
But he was not in the United States.
No.
I mean, it's kind of like what's his face too, the guy from the German guy from Inglourious Bastards.
Oh yeah, not Prince. I know who you're talking about.
Yeah,
we talk
it's like
about
the same thing. It's like how these movies can create a whole career.
Yes.
And it's like you got Alan Rickman's career created basically, but the funny thing is this movie also really created Bruce Willis's career.
Oh yeah,
or at least what we know modern day career.
Oh, easily. Well, and it transformed like the type of role he would play. Like he's always kind of settled into everyman character who's also kind of like strong and funny and everything. He played against type in The Sixth Sense, I thought, because he was not funny at all.
Well, the thing about him is, I'm going to pull him up, is that I feel like the one thing about him, and people say shit about him now, he's older or whatever, he doesn't really have to even act anymore if he doesn't want to.
No.
But he definitely took always, he could have just stuck to he did Die Hard 2, 3, and then
4,
20
5.
years later.
Yeah.
And those movies, I don't really care for Die Hard 2. It was okay, it wasn't very good. I generally like Die Hard 3 with Samuel L. Jackson.
That was good, yep.
And what's his face as the villain, who's basically the guy who's Osmondeus now.
Jeremy Irons.
Basically, he's playing he literally was playing Hans Gruber's brother, I think, or something.
Right.
But I'm gonna look up Bruce Willis. You don't have to pause it. You could keep talking about the movie or whatever.
Well, I'm gonna actually grab a beer. You want a beer?
Yeah, sure.
I thought, back to what I was saying with the way it changed, is that there's a bunch of movies before Die Hard, then you had Die Hard, and then for 10 years you had movies that were basically Die Hard on a blank.
Yeah,
you would have
Wesley Snipes, Die Hard on a Plane.
Right. And you had Speed, which was Die Hard on a Bus, and you had a whole bunch of movies where it was an everyman dropped into an impossible situation, and he was kind of weary and tired, but he persevered. But he was definitely human. He could be wounded. He wasn't like this Superman or anything like that. And it was a genre for about 10 years. Now, in the article I read, they said that The Matrix kind of snapped out of that. They said basically CGI got to the point where you could do different things, and people started making different movies.
Oh, I forgot. He's also... he's famous. I mean, he was in a bunch of other movies. Obviously, Blind Date is one of them. Let's see if I remember that. Sunset? I think I remember that.
I don't remember
Look
Sunset.
Who's Talking.
Oh, yeah.
He was the baby. And
right.
that came out... So Die Hard... Die Hard 2 is 1990. Okay, so yeah. He does Look Who's Talking in 89. Does Die Hard 2 in 1990. Still sticks to Look Who's Talking. He's in Look Who's Talking 2.
Right. Well, that was a big movie,
And then he does Bonfire of the Vanities. And that's considered kind of a dud, actually.
It was. I liked that a lot. That was based on the Tom Wolfe book. And I read the book, and I thought was Tom Hanks in that?
Yeah.
Yeah. And a woman who I thought was amazingly beautiful at the time. God, what was her name?
She married Antonio Banderas.
Yeah.
Meg. Working Girl.
Yeah, Working Girl. What was her name?
It's
not Meg Ryan.
No.
It's
Melanie Griffith.
Melanie Griffith.
You want to hear something fucked up about this movie?
Yeah.
Do you know why? The only reason why I know about that. You know the only thing I know about that movie.
Bonfire of the Vanities.
You know why? Because she got breast implants to be in that movie.
Oh, really?
Yeah, that's why. And that's the only reason why I remember that fucking movie. And I don't mean in some perverted way of
right.
It's more it's just that was a milestone, I guess.
Yeah, I remember people hated that movie.
Yeah.
It was not well received. I liked it. I had forgotten he was in it. But yeah, he made some weird choices.
He does some and the funny thing is he does these Die Hard movies, but man, he's in some movies that don't do well for him. Hudson Hawk was a fucking bomb.
Right. That was a bomb, and
all I remember is what's her face was in it. Crap, what's her name? She was in King of Comedy. She's in Sandra Bernhard.
Okay. Oh yeah. I remember. I think Hudson Hawk came out around the same time as. Do you remember V.I. Warshawski?
Yeah, that movie. That's the one with the
yeah, Kathleen Turner.
Yeah,
right.
Yeah.
And I remember. I think I'm probably wrong, but I think those movies came out around the same time, and they were both designed to further
right.
their
Well,
careers.
it was an action movie with her.
Yeah,
it was a woman. It was okay. I remember.
Yeah, I think that's how I felt about Hudson Hawk. I thought Hudson Hawk was probably better than people gave it credit for, but it's clearly a bomb.
Yeah. Billy Bathgate. Do you remember that?
I remember the title, but I don't remember anything about
Last
the movie.
Boy Scout.
I remember that. That was pretty good.
The Player. Oh, The Player is a famous movie. Okay. So The Player is that Tim Robbins movie.
Oh, yeah.
I forgot the guy who directed it. Is he the guy who fucking played Robert Altman, or
Yes.
as I like to call him,
Right.
the guy who created Jurassic Park?
Robert Altman. Yeah,
Yeah, he plays the Hans, whatever his name is, the guy who created Jurassic Park.
Is that him? I thought Robert
he's the
Altman
old
was the
man.
guy that did
Alright, I'm gonna look up
Nashville and...
Yeah, but he was...
You're thinking of Attenborough.
No. Robert Altman was a director, but he also did some roles.
That's the same guy?
And he is... I swear, I could be wrong. I'm going to look him up as an actor.
Altman did like Nashville and Shortcuts, and he did a lot of like weird, kind of quirky, experimental movies.
Come on, where are you as an actor? I know it. Yeah, actor. Let's see.
I thought that was Attenborough. That's not Attenborough?
Maybe I'm wrong. Oh, wait, no. Who played... It wasn't Attenborough. Who?
It wasn't?
I'm going to have to look up Jurassic
Yeah,
Park.
I'm currently Googling this myself. All right, so I'm going to... Here's my Googling, my impressive Googling skills. Old guy, Jurassic Park. There we go.
Richard Attenborough, you're right.
Fuck,
I
I
thought
thought
it
it
was
was.
fucking Robert Altman, but if you look at him... Look at
I can see that.
Yeah,
Well,
you know what? I'm going to live in a false reality. And you know what? I'm the guy who created Baby Yoda. I'm also going to thank Robert Altman.
There you go.
Yeah.
Man.
So, I do whatever I want. It's my reality.
Yeah. All right, so, yeah. Now I'm, like, lost somewhere.
We were just talking about, like, his career.
Oh,
as,
yeah. Well, for me, like, this is pathetic. Because have you watched his Levi's or Seagram's Golden Wine Coolers commercials lately?
I vaguely remember that.
I remember those as being the height of cool. And if you look at them now, they are not the height of cool.
No, they're not.
They're
Not the height of cool.
Well, first of all, like the notion of wine coolers ever being like...
It's like Zima. It's the same shit.
Yeah.
You know?
Did you ever drink wine
coolers?
coolers?
You know what? It's funny. Wine coolers were popular while I was the age of...
Okay, sure.
Of Die Hard. And that's when wine coolers were at their peak. I will say that I had stolen... My parents didn't drink alcohol, but they kept some wine coolers around the house. And I would sneak a sip. Because they weren't that strong.
No. They were pretty mild.
They were like 3% or something. Okay, so the funny thing is that movie, The Player, is like kind of like an Inside Hollywood type thing. And there's the whole plot of the movie, of The Player, is there's this movie that, there's a bigger plot with Tim Robbins where he kills somebody. And like that, but there's an underlying plot where he wants to produce this movie. It's very artistic. And they talk about it in the beginning and like how they want to cast like this lesbian black woman and an older man. A much older man. And it was like, they had all these different ideas. And then the end of the movie, the joke was, they showed up. And I think this is where this rumor started. In the end of the movie, the character is now Julia Roberts. Old man, and she gets rescued by Bruce Willis.
Right.
And like, so this movie basically turned into that.
Yeah, like a Hollywood.
Most of these movies would happen. So there was a rumor that recently went around. Supposedly they wanted to make a Harriet Tubman movie.
Oh yeah,
and they were going to cast Julia Roberts.
Right.
Now I'm wondering if that is a joke that people don't realize that goes back to the movie The Producers, where the idea was it was as a lesbian black woman. Sorry, not the producers.
Yeah, I'm like, wait a minute.
Springtime for Hitler.
Zero Mostel.
Yeah, Zero Mostel.
Yeah, The Player, right.
Yeah, and they replaced him with Julia Roberts.
Gene Wilder.
The Player.
Yes.
I'm wondering if this like goes back, because this movie came out in 1992, which is crazy.
Gosh, that would add up.
And, you know, because the joke is that here's a character that was meant obviously for a black person. It was fictional, though.
Right. And Scarlett Johansson was only like 3 years old at the time.
Clearly. They could not use her yet. But she was up for the role.
Right. She was up for baby Harriet Tubman. She was up
but I'm wondering if, like, I'm wondering if that's like a fucking joke.
Yeah, I can see that.
That, like, goes back to that movie. All right, whatever. So then he's in Death Becomes Her.
Oh, yeah.
I didn't care for that movie.
No, I didn't either.
And it's funny, he does like a lot. It's like he's in like some stuff that, I mean, you look at his career, it's like, there's really not much good stuff. And then he does Pulp Fiction.
Yeah.
And he's awesome in Pulp Fiction. His segment's probably one of the best parts in it.
Mm-hmm. Well, he's like, I mean, if you look for a hero in Pulp Fiction, he's probably the closest you got to a hero.
Right, to a hero character.
Yeah.
A true hero character.
Yeah.
It's definitely, I mean...
He's almost unambiguously good and noble.
Right, to a point, yeah. I mean,
within that context.
He's on the run, right?
Well, he...
Is he a boxer and he goes to fight?
Marcellus Wallace paid him a bunch of money to take a dive. And Marcellus bet on the other guy, assuming that Bruce Willis would lose. Bruce Willis took all the money that Marcellus gave him, bet on himself, and then didn't throw the fight and won a bunch of money.
Right, but now he's on the run.
But now he's on the run.
French girlfriend who just wanted
blueberry
pancakes.
Right. Yeah, she wanted like a pot belly or something.
Yeah,
she was
I want a pot belly.
I never understood that.
And then there's a fun. I swear he has the best line is, Zed's dead.
Right,
and the bike said, who's
dead,
Zed?
baby.
Zed's dead. I know that because I had the soundtrack.
Right.
The soundtrack had little cut scenes. It was a very 90s thing to do.
Right.
Take little cut scenes. And when I would do, and we talked about this making mixes, I would take those cut scenes from different soundtracks, and I would put them in my own thing. So I'm like, you know what? That line's not going to go to the next Pulp Fiction song. I'm going to have it go right before something else. I don't remember what it was. Probably something terrible. Biohazard or something.
Right.
Zed's dead.
Yeah. Well, that was a great line. And Bruce Willis was like unambiguously great in that movie.
Yeah. And the thing is, it's funny. I don't think he's ever done another Tarantino film.
That's interesting.
Because Tarantino, it's interesting.
He recycles actors, yeah.
He usually does bring, to a point.
Yeah.
I mean, he always finds a place for Samuel L. Jackson.
Sure.
John Travolta also was never in another. He was never in another. He never found another role for him. Him and. It's funny too because I'm like, let's see. Tim Roth shows up in that.
Oh yeah.
And Tim Roth I think is in he's in that movie 4 Rooms, which I didn't care for. Tarantino directs a segment. But I don't think Tim Roth ever shows up in another Tarantino movie either.
Harvey Keitel does.
Harvey Keitel shows up. Well,
in Reservoir Dogs.
Pretty much every actor from Reservoir Dogs shows up in Pulp Fiction in some way.
You're right.
Steve Buscemi is Buddy Holly at the diner.
Oh,
he's
yeah.
Part.
Right.
Harvey Keitel shows back up. He's the wolf. Tim Roth shows up. He's the robbing the bank with Bunny.
Honey Bunny.
Uh-huh. And I could be wrong. I don't remember ever seeing any of those. And it's funny, I always will associate Tim Roth, Steve Buscemi, and Harvey Keitel as Tarantino actors. Yeah. Even though I don't think. I guess if you count.
From Dusk Till Dawn.
Harvey Keitel's in that. You
I count that as
I mean, I guess I kind of do, but not.
It's not, but I do. I mean,
but none of those actors show up again. But they'll always be locked. Like Steve Buscemi will always be even though he's, if anything, he's probably more of an Adam Sandler.
Yeah,
he's doing more Adam Sandler.
That's
movies.
True.
I always liked him as the Crazy Eyes.
Yeah.
Like those movies, he is the gem in those horrible movies.
Right, that is true.
Even that. Mr. Deeds.
I never saw that. I didn't see a lot of the Sandler movies.
It's for the best. But he plays a guy with... It's like if he thought his eyes were weird.
Right.
They did something to his eyes, made him crazier. And he just says, even I can't see with these crazy eyes. All right. Well, obviously we're not talking about...
Die Hard.
We're talking about Baby Yoda, right?
No,
are we talking about Ghostbusters?
We're talking about Die Hard. And we got on a sidetrack, a tangent with Bruce Willis and his career. Because, Bruce Willis was, the heart of the movie. You know, I mean, obviously he was. But the whole premise, and we successfully didn't give a synopsis of the plot last week, so we'll not give a synopsis of the plot this week.
Well, we'll just say that the plot of the movie is a guy is going to visit his wife.
Yeah.
They're kind of getting a divorce, or they're
they're separated. They're separated, and I got the impression that Willis was very sad about that. John McClane was sad about that, and he was going to spend Christmas Eve with his estranged wife with the hopes of maybe
she took on a career and moved to L.A. He's a New York cop.
Yep.
They say things like he had cases he wanted to finish, and could be male ego, could be a whole bunch of reasons.
Right.
And she took the kids and went to
California, yeah.
and went to go work at the, what's the name of the building?
The Nakatomi building,
Nakatomi.
right? Yeah, it was.
You fool! It's Nakatomi.
She went to go work there, and he's visiting her on Christmas Eve. You get the feeling with the hopes of maybe reconciling or at least making peace. He's going there with like a olive branch.
And he might, who knows? He might move there. Or who knows?
Right.
And they're having like a Christmas party at this building, and that's like the joke is they talk about the shoes. So I guess she has him waiting in the room. I love when you get there. There's like that one guy. I just remember like he's so lame. It's
the boss.
Well, there's a guy. So there's obviously I don't know the name. The guy who runs the company.
Yeah.
He's Japanese, right?
Right.
But then there's like a guy who I guess is above her.
Harry something.
And he's like totally sleazing on her.
Very bad.
And he's just like, you see him doing coke.
Yeah.
I mean, he's just like he's a prototypical 80s douchebag.
Yeah.
Like, and now that I want to like look this guy up and be like, was this guy in anything?
Well,
like,
he was pretty good at being that schmarmy 80s douchebag in Die Hard. And you're right. He seems like he would have shown up elsewhere as maybe like a middle school principal.
Harry, is his name Harry?
I think the character's name is Harry.
Okay.
Who played him?
Hart Bachner.
I've never heard that name.
He was in Supergirl.
The current series Supergirl?
No, one from 1984.
Oh, with Helen Slater?
Yeah.
Okay, good start.
I don't know, I think he's just like a TV actor.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Well, he was really good until he got shot. And he was...
Well, he was like, I'm a sales guy or whatever. I'm going to go talk to them. The one thing I liked about this movie was, so as they're, you're being introduced to everybody and it's a party, he's going away in the room, like a van shows up. This like well-oiled machine shows up.
Yes, it's a really wonderful plot to watch unfold. You got the nerdy
guy who's like a tech guy.
Yep.
You get evil German guys.
Yep.
You got there's like a whole mixed group. Like one of the dudes looks like I swore it was Huey Lewis.
Oh yeah.
I don't think it's not Huey Lewis.
It can't be Huey Lewis.
Sure, let's say it is though.
That would be awesome.
Alexander Guvanov, who died a long time ago. He's the main. He's like he was the guy right under Hans Gruber, the long blonde hair guy.
Yes,
Like, I think he's like Russian real life. He died a long time ago. He was great in that movie. I think he was great in Waxworks too.
But it was a great plan. Like they had it was starting out as like a terrorist operation.
Well, you think they're terrorists,
right?
And the joke is it's a con. It's a joke. And one of the funniest parts of the whole movie, I remember even as a kid, I was like, where they literally they start because like the joke is like even if you go back to the original plot, if John McClane wasn't there, they probably could have just robbed the place.
Yeah.
And with minimal deaths, if no deaths at all, and would have left.
Right.
But John McClane shows up.
Right. Bodies start piling up.
And bodies start piling up. Some innocent.
Yeah.
All the bad guys, but some innocent. I mean, and the joke was at first you think they're terrorists. They're just fucking thieves.
They want those bearer bonds or whatever.
Well, the funny thing is when they say it was like worth $666 billion.
Yeah.
And at the time you think about it, it's 1988. You're like, wow, that's a lot of money.
Mm-hmm.
And now you think about like guys like Jeff Bezos or something.
Right. Yeah.
You're like that's nothing. They're worth hundreds of billions, and it's like with like Mike Bloomberg or the top star dropped like $100 million on an ad camp. You know, I mean, it's nothing. It's like $666 million. It's almost like it almost becomes like that scene from Austin Powers,
right?
When
$1 million.
Dr. is like, I want $1 million because he's from the late '60s, and everyone starts cracking up.
Yeah, it is. But it was like a well-oiled plan. All the pieces were in place. It was almost like an Ocean's 11, but you don't get to see it from the perspective.
And they're also not the good guys.
Yeah, they're the bad
Ocean's
guys.
11, they're the... Because, like you said, the original, if you go by the movie, it's bad guys robbing from bad guys.
Basically, yeah.
And if he wasn't there...
Right, just let him do it. Who cares?
Right.
You know, I mean, like, okay, so... Because at the time, and this, I guess this gets pretty complicated, but during the 80s... The idea was like the Japanese had bought a building.
They were buying up everything.
Right. And they were a bad guy. I mean, that's kind of probably racist in a way. And
it was almost like, it's weird. They they wouldn't be the bad guys in the movie, but they represented like economic. They were like economic bad guys.
Right.
Like, what was that one movie with Michael Keaton?
Black Rain.
No, that's Michael Douglas.
Oh.
And that involves a Japanese. That's
Yes.
Yakuza. No, the one where Michael Keaton's like, it's like a motor.
Not Mr. Mom.
No, it's around that time. It's
Yeah.
like a car company.
Right.
And like.
And the Japanese come in and they want to manage the plant differently.
Yeah.
And I forget the name of that.
They just represent like a different culture, different. Things aren't like American made anymore. It's
right.
like.
Well, it was a threat to the Western way of life, or it was seen
That's
that
what you
way.
get for fucking electing Reagan as president
right.
for 8 years. You know, it's like you think that they were underselling the country the whole time for.
Well, yeah, no, I agree. But like,
it just happened magically on its own.
but it was. I mean, like, if you look at it within the context of the average moviegoer in the average city in average 1980s, late 1980s, and it's like, okay, here are these German terrorists or European terrorists, but they're probably just bank robbers, and they're gonna like steal money from.
I mean, as much as I like to say, like they would have left, Hans Gruber was not a good guy.
Oh no,
he probably would have killed all of them. There's a strong chance that he would have been like, okay, I got the money,
right?
Now
and then chucked a grenade.
Kill all no witnesses.
Yeah, I can see that.
It's like he's here. It's back.
Right.
Run him back. Hold on. It's like I'm like Whoopi Goldberg and Ghost.
Right.
Let's run him back.
Just channeling him.
Yes.
Yeah. Well, you're right. I mean, like you don't know what Hans Groper would have done, but we'll never know.
I don't know
like,
who Hans Groper is.
Right.
I do remember Hans Gruber.
But like we'll never know because Bruce Willis.
Hans Groper was very excited to be on fire for the Vanities.
Oh, I'll bet. Yeah.
Hans Gruber was excited about getting that $666 million.
Yeah. Well, you're right, because like on his way out the door, he was going to blow up a bunch of stuff. Like there's evidence towards the end of that movie that Hans Gruber wouldn't have been a get the money and run kind of
No,
guy.
I don't think so. So you can make the joke that like John McClane's a bumbling fool, but no, he's a hero. He saves everybody or saves as many people as he can. I mean, it's like Harry was a douchebag.
Right.
And he kind of brought it on upon himself. If he just shut up, he probably would have survived the movie. But he had to, like,
if he had just shut
up with these people. And it's like, dude, what? Obviously, you were still on your coke high because you couldn't see that this was a well-operated machine.
Well, yeah. I mean, it was. But there's a lot of stuff going on. And I thought, like, not structurally, but, like, the way they moved the people around. You had the hairy guy. You had that group of people that were the hostages, and they were like one group of people that were doing stuff. And then you had the terrorists / bank robbers, and they were another group of people doing stuff. And then you had
the guys in the street.
Yeah, you had
outside the building.
Right, you had the cops rolling up.
Well, you get introduced to Sergeant Al Powell.
Yep.
Who is also the nemesis to Urkel.
Oh yeah, right. Yeah.
Urkel's,
from
Family Matters.
Family Matters.
I like to think that this movie serves many purposes.
Right.
It's a launchpad in Alan Rickman's career.
Yeah.
It's a launchpad to Bruce Willis's movie star career.
Right.
It's also a backdoor pilot
for
Family Matters.
Yeah.
Now, some people will say that Family Matters is really a backdoor pilot from Perfect Strangers, but I like to think that this is really
that this Die Hard connection.
Die Hard he's a cop in that,
right?
Because
when Bruce Willis strapped C4 and a computer to a chair and dropped it down the elevator shaft, he did say, "Did I do that?" After it blew up,
and that was he did say, "You got any cheese?"
Yeah, right.
You got any cheese? And do you remember the part? The part in the movie, or you could say you could do a weird time jump after Family Matters because there's a scene, Carl. Well, Sergeant Al Powell
Uncle Carl
talks about, which is not the same actor at all.
Nope.
Totally different person.
Yep.
Okay. Yeah. Different human being altogether. No relation.
Sure. Yeah.
Foot and height difference. Talks about he doesn't draw a gun anymore. He's kind of like a desk guy.
Right. Yeah.
Because he accidentally killed a kid.
Yeah.
But I think he's lying.
Right.
That kid he killed
was Urkel.
And
Urkel was never there during family. That was like he was like a ghost.
Yeah,
Right?
Yeah,
like
is
he
a
wasn't
ghost,
like if you rewatched it today, it
He's
would all
not
make
re- he's
sense
never
as if he wasn't
Yeah,
there.
That's why what's her face never showed any interest,
Right, because he wasn't there.
And that's where Shamalama Ding Dong, M Night.
Yeah.
Shamalama Ding Dong got the
Right.
idea to the movie Sixth
Sixth
Sense.
Sense, which stars
Bruce Willis. This all
Fucking-
connects.
yeah.
It all
it's
connects.
a riddle wrapped in a
Family
enigma.
Family Matters connection
Yeah.
to Sixth Sense, starring
Right.
Bruce Willis. Bruce Willis stars with Reginald Vell Johnson,
Mm-hmm.
star of Family Matters.
Yeah. Well, I'll tell you, man. Look,
We just broke down.
whoever would have thought of a Baby Yoda, but here we
Yeah,
are.
yeah.
Here we just.
Fucking came up with Baby Yoda. You would have been stuck with a baby Jar Jar Binks.
Oh fuck.
You're welcome. Or a
Well-
baby Boss Nass.
But you had
So
okay.
nice.
So you had all those roles going on, but you also had Bruce Willis that was like flying solo in the
Yeah.
building, and he was in communication with
Well,
the
he's the
limo
guy
driver.
he's keeping it. No, he was in communication with. He was trying to get in touch with the limo driver.
That's right. Yeah,
That
yeah.
guy
I'm
was
sorry.
fucking off
Right.
the whole time.
Yeah.
He was in touch with
The cop. The
cop.
yeah.
The cop is what kept him sane.
Right.
He was literally by himself. He was like trapped. He was like, he was the guy who like kept him like he pretty
Yeah.
much kept him alive.
Kept him tethered. Right.
What I was saying, one of my favorite scenes though is like, you know, so he shows up,
well,
and he calls up backup. They
Yep.
don't believe him, and I think like a body. Isn't that when the body of Harry falls?
that's how he
out?
tries to get the attention. Bruce Willis chucks the body onto the cop car.
Well, he chucks one of the bodies of the terrorists,
Mm-hmm.
and what does he say? Like, "Welcome to the party." Does he say
Yeah,
that?
right. Something like that. Yeah.
And he says, "Shamalama Ding Dong." What's the line? Or Yippee-ki-yay, Shamalama Ding Dong,
Yippee-ki-yay,
dickhead.
motherfucker. Right.
Oh, he didn't say Shamalama Ding Dong, dickhead.
No, but that would have been. I think that's in Die Hard with a Vengeance.
Yeah, Die Hard.
Yeah.
Hey, Shamalama Ding Dong, dickhead.
Well, he did. Look, he had a lot of quips in this one. The Yippee-ki-yay motherfucker is clearly the one that's lived on. I mean, I think.
and then I like when Hans Gruber's like, "What is that line?" Yippee-ki-yay, motherfucker.
Well, he
He knew the catchphrase already.
that catchphrase is like people will say that today, never knowing that it was in that movie. I think. I mean, I think it's kind of like.
I think there's an unofficial. You know, you got the Die Hard 1, 2, 3,
Yep.
4, and 5. There's another sequel, and I like to consider it part of the Die Hard series.
Yeah.
It was a parody skit on the Ben Stiller show,
Okay.
where it's Ben Stiller's playing like Die Hard, but it's in a supermarket. And the bad guy is played by I forgot the name of that actor, but he was like famous for being in like he's in like Ridgemont High. I think he was a pizza delivery guy, or whatever. He was like a skeezy. He plays like a skeezy guy in that, but he plays like the Hans Gruber role, and it is so fucking funny. This part when he's in a shaft, and I don't even remember it was like Yippee-ki-yay, but it was like Yippee-ki-yay, dabba dabba ding dong. I highly recommend if you can find that skit and just pretend it's like another sequel of Die Hard. It works perfectly.
Right.
It's just in a supermarket.
Yeah,
small
Die Hard in a
supermarket.
supermarket, right?
I mean,
Die Hard in a convenience store.
Die Hard in a studio loft apartment in New York City,
jeez.
which is just a really boring movie.
Well, it was look the location. Well, speaking of locations, the location here was really good. I heard they tried to recreate. You know that Frank Lloyd Wright house, Falling Water, or something. It's like a famous piece of art.
My wife probably does now because she loves Frank Lloyd Wright.
Well, they rebuilt that in the lobby. Like it was supposed, and that was supposed to be like a thematic thing. It's like the Japanese had come over and taken.
Oh, that
American.
scene in the end of the movie when he's going through the water and everything.
Oh, yeah.
It's such when everything exploded and everything,
Right.
and he's going. It's amazing because you forget he's in a building.
Yeah.
and it looks like he's like in freaking Vietnam.
It
or
does.
something. It's like it takes you like it just looks like a totally different scene.
Yeah. It is kind of crazy, but we had all those. You have all those pieces out there. You have the hostages, the terrorist robbers. You had the cops. You had Bruce Willis talking to the one cop.
Then the other, my favorite is the guy from Breakfast Club shows up, and he's a deputy,
Right.
And he's a kind of a douchebag,
Yeah.
and he gives them a hard time, and then. The best, I'm going through this, the reporters show up.
Oh, yeah.
And it's played by the guy who is the asshole from Ghostbusters.
Right.
The EPA guy.
Yes.
You know, the guy that didn't want them to destroy
Right.
the whole world with their untested nuclear
Fucking
bomb
deep
filled
state.
with... yeah, that deep state that was protecting the world. Like,
Yeah.
hey, you got a nuclear bomb containing ghost. I need to look at that.
Yeah, maybe
Or you
don't
need to look
flush
at
it. Dicks. Maybe don't.
I always love that when you watch the movie, you're like, speak about Ghostbusters. We can take a second. And we talked about this in our Ghostbusters episode. Highly recommend. Go back and watch it.
Oh, absolutely.
That's where we came up with the idea for Ghostbusters. The new
Ghostbusters Afterlife. That's why we have writing credits.
Yeah, we have writing credits to that.
Yeah, that's why I got my SAG card.
Yeah. I want to call it Ghostbusters Afterthoughts, but Jess was like, it doesn't really make any sense.
I was going to go with Ghostbusters Afterbirth, but Ghostbusters Placenta.
But sit there and turn into a stew. Make little capsules. Gotta preserve the placenta. It's the nutrients.
The cord blood, man. It's like...
So the guy, I always love that. It's like he's the villain of the movie, but it's like the main heroes have an unstable thing that is in the middle of the most populated city one of the most populous cities in the world.
That doesn't take a night off.
Spirits and if you hit the wrong button, it will literally.
Yeah.
Well, you found out in the movie. Okay, so he's in it. He plays a nosy reporter. Mm-hmm. And my favorite is like in the end of the movie. There's a couple. Okay, so the movie, as great as it is not a perfect movie. I'll give you a couple examples of imperfections in movies. So, in the end of the movie, Bonnie Bedelia. Plays,
the wife.
Well, you find out, like, the nosy reporter guys, he finds out that he's in there and the wife's in there. Mm-hmm. And that there's a cop guy who's, like, trapped and trying to take out, like, as the story develops, it's not just, like, a terrorist thing. So he goes and finds, like, the kids.
Right.
And he, like, asks her a question. The little girl's, like, all scared. And she sees them on TV or whatever. And then at the end of the movie, she just decks him. Do you remember that? Like,
I do, yeah.
And I'm just like... Did she know who he was? I guess she did. I don't know. And then, like, there's another scene in the in the movie. So you have, like, his limo driver who, for some reason, for years, I always thought Bobby Brown played him.
Oh, I can see that. Right.
Yeah, because
I
think of him from the Ghostbusters 2 music video.
Right, yeah.
So the guy who's, like, his limo driver, he's this young dude or whatever, and I guess he just hangs out, but he's just kind of fucking off. I guess he's trying to contact him in the limo, and he's blasting music. But then in the end of the movie, the tech guy is trying to escape.
Right.
Who's working with him, and he just goes up to him and like decks him.
Yeah.
Then I'm like, do you just randomly punch people? Like I mean,
is that your thing?
Were like, I mean, as an audience, you're watching a movie, and I could be wrong, and someone could say like, no, there's a scene where he's aware that there's terrorists in the building. But as far as I'm watching the movie, I'm like. As far as I know, he's completely... the limo driver guy is completely aloof to everything that's going on. He's in the basement of the building. He's sitting there chilling. And he's been, like I said, he's just been kind of fucking off. He really has no idea what's going on.
No.
But you get in the movie, and you're watching it, and it's like close to the end of the movie, and this guy who's just like the harmless tech guy...
Right.
He still has to have some kind of justice. You can't just let him drive away.
Yeah.
So the limo driver goes up to him, sees, like I said, the van pulls in, or he's trying to get in the van, leaves. He gets out of the limo, and he just goes and decks him. Yeah. And like I said, we're watching it, we're like, good, yeah. But at the same time, I'm thinking about it, I'm like, why are you decking this guy?
Yeah.
Do you know? Yeah, like you said, do you just randomly deck people?
It's
crazy, am I missing a beat?
No, that makes sense. I mean, that's the logical way to look at it.
That the building was abducted by by robbers, or I swore he was aloof for the whole thing. And he's just like, I hate nerds.
Yeah.
Nerds! Okay, he turns into ogre. So, but one of my favorite scenes in the movie, I guess, is like as the cops show up, and then the FBI shows up. Arbid Davi is one of them.
Right.
We'll get into that in a second. Do they ask him for demands, or they're like, they know how to do this? Like,
I think
Terrorist 101.
Yeah, I think they know what they're getting into. And in fact, don't they... Gosh, I could be remembering this wrong, but I thought they kind of allude to the fact that that's out in the open.
Or they also, the FBI guys who get blown up, they're in the helicopter and they get blown up again. But they're like jerks because they're like, talk about acceptable losses.
Right, yeah.
Like they have it all like set, like, hey, we got acceptable losses. We lose like 20 of the hostages or whatever. It's like, you know.
Right. And McClane's fighting for everyone to get out.
Yeah.
Like, there's a clear contrast there.
And but I guess they want to know what their demands are, because I guess in their minds they still think these guys are like terrorists. They don't realize that they're just
simple bank robbers.
But they're pretending to be terrorists too. So they make all these demands, and he just lists these like names of these terrorists, like these world leaders, these evil people. And the joke is he's looking at like a Time magazine or something, and like the guy with the long hair is like, you're just pulling out names of the Time magazine. He's like, yeah, I'm just fucking with them.
Well, there's a difference between like, I don't know. I mean, that's
well, it was just funny because it was just showing you how Hans Gruber was like there just for the money. He's not there to
there
terrorists.
was no.
He's making ridiculous. Like, they're not going to release these like. I don't even, I for some reason say like Crimson Dawn, just from Solo. Like, well, it was like these famous like groups of like international terrorists that like. They're not going to release these people.
No, I mean it was kind of clever in that way. Like you wonder why he bothered with that ruse, but like
it's just to waste their time.
Matter. Yeah,
well, he's just there to waste their time, so he can get the fuck out of there.
Yeah, and there was a definite like time constraint. Like they only had so many hours to get this done, and so that was kind of a good narrative device. It kept the plot moving pretty quickly. Right. So it just seemed like a product of its time. Like that was a kind of thing that had been happening in the 70s, and they were making this movie in the 80s, and it just seemed like a nice. I don't know. It doesn't seem dated, but it does kind of seem dated.
I think what you're missing is that that's what made this movie different from the other action movies. Just like when I bring up like 3 O'Clock High, it's like here's a thing that is convention. It follows a conventional thing, but there's more to it. This movie that makes it way more special, and it's like the people who made this movie, they're like they follow the same like action movie thing, but they bring in a different element. So the villains, like if you go by like what you're talking about, the villains would be like, I want this hostage free, but Hans Gruber doesn't give a shit. He is fucking with the FBI and the cops. Yeah. He's just killing time. That's why I found it really funny. Yeah. So when his henchman guy's like, what are you doing? He's just like, I'm just pulling out names and like I'm just pulling out names. To, fuck with them. I'm just gonna pick like the most ridiculous things. They're not gonna release these. Right. Like they wouldn't even have access like to release these like in fucking world. Like we're talking like I can't even remember the names, but it was like famous international terrorists that were like
Carlos the Jackal.
Yeah, something like that. Like it was just a joke, and that's what I liked about it. That's what it showed about the ruse. These were not just like a typical like a Chuck Norris movie, like one-off characters that just like taking this plane to Beirut, or whatever. It's like some generic stereotype. It was more of like. And then, like, that one scene when Han shows up pretending to be, like...
He pretends to be a hostage.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And in reality, he's seeing that, like, he sees his feet. He sees that he's really vulnerable. And that's the scene where they shoot all the glass.
Yep.
And that's that gross scene when he has to pull a huge hunk of glass out of his foot. And I'm surprised that's all that happened to him, because, my God...
I mean, this movie was a long time ago. It might be a different movie today. But I do remember, and... I do remember watching it feeling like it was pretty new and uncommon to me to see the hero that vulnerable.
Well, it's kind of funny because that same year, Rambo 3 came out.
Right, yeah.
And I remember seeing that in the theater. I really wanted to see it. And it's considered, like, really bad. It's the one where he goes to, like, Afghanistan.
Yeah, yeah.
It begins with the famous fighting scene, which... what's the one with Charlie Sheen in that movie? It's the sequel, though.
I know what you're talking about.
It's so funny. The sequel's so much better than the first
one. Yeah.
The sequel is really funny, but, like, Rambo gets, like, in a pit fight, and they, like, use, like, they have, like, bandages, and they put, like, nails or whatever. But I love the scene in Hot Shots, too.
Oh, Hot Shots,
Part 2. Right. So, it's, like... Charlie Sheen's not doing it, but like he sticks his hand like honey. And he's picking, it's like a yogurt station, like toppings, and he's picking up like Fruity Pebbles and like. But it's like he gets really hurt in that movie too.
Right.
Rambo. I was gonna say Rocky, but whatever.
Yeah.
Same thing. And he like has to like pull out a bullet, and he uses like I remember
he cauterizes his own.
And he has to like shoot out the bullet. He's like.
Yeah. But like,
Oh, I said
he never like with Rambo. It seemed like he was real stoic and he did it, and like you never felt like he was vulnerable. But this is like a weird thing to say, but like there's something like super vulnerable about
John McClane.
Because
he was a regular dude.
You don't have
Rambo's
any
still an insane killing
Right.
machine. He's like a superhero. Yeah, there's a big difference. I was just bringing up how like I
Oh,
find
yeah, yeah.
saying like he gets really hurt in that movie, but you're right.
But like
John
McClane doesn't have any shoes, and
Yeah.
that's like a real like that's
Yeah.
I mean that like
That's why in the sequel they're like, how do we top the movie?
right.
He has no gloves,
No pants.
no,
No
pants.
pants.
He has no underwear.
Yeah, well, like no shoes, and you're like walking. I mean, like that's like really
He's
vulnerable.
completely naked.
And, yeah, right.
Die Hard too. I don't got any clothes.
Right. Well, it's like real vulnerable, and yeah, you're right. He was like an everyman, and he was kind of weary, and he didn't want to be there. He just wanted to like.
Yeah, he's tired from the.
Yeah.
He's severely jet lagged.
Yep.
Like I said, I don't really remember Die Hard too much. Die Hard 3 I really liked because in the beginning of the movie he's like huge hangover,
Yeah.
and the joke was plot of Die Hard 3 is it's similar to Die Hard 1, except now it's in all of New York City.
Right.
But that's the movie where I learned, I didn't know this. So they want to like, you find out in the end, they want to blow up this area. And it's basically that in New York City, by the World Trade Center, this movie came out in 95. I remember seeing it. I think we went to like we called it like Senior Ditch Day. And I remember going
sweet.
I think we saw that Senior Ditch Day.
Nice.
And at the Sunrise Movie Theater in Massapequa, Long Island.
Nice.
And you find out that there's a Fort Knox, basically.
Oh yeah.
That the funny thing about, and it's funny, I know about this because of Die Hard 3, which is pathetic. It's like I learned more things from movies, probably. So that I didn't know this, and I told you heard of Fort Knox, right?
Oh yeah.
Supposedly-
Kentucky or something.
Yeah, but supposedly this was the real deal, and there was like more gold and money under this section, and they wanted to rob that.
Right.
That was the plot of the movie, and it was like near a subway station. Well, do you know what happened to that?
I forget.
Okay,
I
so
don't
when
remember.
9/11 happened,
Oh yeah.
and everyone I remember people brought that up. They're like, "What happened to that?" Because that was not there anymore. That really was a real
That
thing.
was real.
That was a real fucking thing. That just wasn't made up for Die
Right.
Hard 3.
That's funny.
And so, you know how Giuliani has those gold teeth?
Yeah.
Well, duh.
Right. Okay, that's all adding up now.
It's like shows up next day with a grill. Sir,
Well,
sir, you're,
Right. He's got like
I'm the mayor.
a diamond encrusted monocle.
I'm America's mayor,
Yeah.
and he's got like
Fuck
fucking
him.
grills now.
Well, look, Die Hard was amazing. I remember Die Harder, which was
Was
an
it
amazing
really
name.
called?
It was called Die Harder.
I thought it was just called Die Hard 2. I guess you're
90% sure it was
Yeah,
called Die
you're
Hard
right.
2, Die Harder.
Oh, that's terrible.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
And because then, like, for a long time, you could just add ER. You no longer had to rely on the Electric Boogaloo joke for all sequels. You had an alternative.
Just add an
Right.
You know, it's
Er.
like
Star Warser.
Star Warser,
Yeah.
Johnny, what was it, Short Circuiter,
Right. Johnny Mnemoniker.
Johnny Mnemonic, Matrixer,
Bravehearted.
Braveheart. I'm trying to think of like ones that just make it really gross.
Yeah. Right.
Cocooner.
It's just. Well, it was. I like Die Hard 2. Die Hard 3 was
Revenge
fine.
of the Nerders.
Yeah. And was Die Hard 4 the one Die Hard with Vengeance with Justin Long?
Okay, so Die Hard 3 comes out in 95, and
Uh-huh.
they didn't have one till like 2007.
Right.
And I despise the new ones.
Oh, yeah.
It's not John McClane anymore.
No.
John McClane is now... everything that was good about him made him
It's
interesting.
gone. Yeah.
It's completely evaporated. Like,
Right.
Bruce Willis comes back. It's like, it's funny. Like, he still has, like, the receding hairline.
Mhm.
And by, like, Die Hard 3, he's still, like... kind of schlubby
But
still, but
Yeah, now
but
he's all ripped.
By this one, it's like he's a lot older, but the actor's like, I'm not gonna do that anymore.
Yeah.
I'm gonna be like a fucking action hero, and he's
Right.
like jumping from planes, It sucked hard. It sucked hard. It should have called it Suck Hard. Because it did.
Hard.
It really did. Like, I hated it. I did not. And 5 was garbage. Like, that was one of like Russia
is
or
that
whatever.
Die Hard or Live Free or
I'm looking it up right now.
Die Hard or Live Free or Die Hard, I think. I saw that one.
I'm looking it up right now. Where are you? Oh, yeah. Live Free or Die Hard is the one I was talking about.
Okay, yeah, I've seen that one. Justin Long's in it.
Oh, wait.
Is that the 4th one or the 5th one?
4th one is Live Free or Die Hard.
Okay.
And I remember the controversy was it was like PG-13.
Okay.
And all the Die Hard movies were like rated R at this point.
Right.
So it was like this lame. There was like this big thing where like all the studios were like, any movie, like we're bringing back Die Hard, and it hasn't been a Die Hard movie in almost 20 years, and it's like, yay, and it's like, it's PG-13, everyone's like, lame.
Right,
it's like,
right.
You know, what made those movies really good, it's like, you know, you can make something more authentic with rated R. I don't know.
Oh, yeah, no, that's true.
And then, I guess, Live Free to Die Hard gag reel. I don't know why that came up. Okay, hold on, I'm looking it up right now. I mean, I know he was in, like, you know, Looper. And
Looper. I love Looper. We've talked about that before, but I thought that was a great, great movie. He's
in, like, those horrible Expendable movies. Okay.
Oh, yeah.
So there's no Die Hard movie for another couple of years.
Right.
And it's Good Day to Die Hard.
That's it, yeah.
And that starred, like, oh, God, the guy who was in, like, that Jai Courtney. He's, he's Captain Boomerang.
Yes.
He's a guy, it's funny, I don't know if you ever saw the show Spartacus.
I did not.
He was like the first season, and you would never think, like, he ended up becoming like, I don't know, people just started pushing him. And he's okay. I think like the great thing about Captain Boomerang was it was probably like his best role, because he could like use his accent. His
Australian accent.
Or like at least push it more.
Yeah.
And then in the movies, it comes off really wooded as fuck. He was in that horrible Terminator Genesis movie.
Yeah.
I just remember it being... It was terrible.
Yeah.
They just, like, they weren't Die Hard anymore.
Right.
Like you said, Die Hard's like an everyday Joe who gets thrown in an impossible situation. And somehow... And when and like you said, too, it's like he's really vulnerable. And when he's leaving the movie, it's like... I think they get in the limo. I'm like, dude, throw that guy in a fucking...
ambulance.
Ambulance. Right. This guy needs, like... He's got, like... He's gonna lose nerves in his feet, like he's.
But like in the original Die Hard, I couldn't do those things just because of that's not how life works. But you could like imagine yourself doing those things. Like I could never imagine myself jumping onto an F-16 and holding on to the side of it and flying away.
That's the second one, right? That's a Die Hard.
It's in one of them.
It's the one at the airport.
Yeah, but in the first one, there's nothing John McClane does that's so outrageous.
Well,
that you
I would say the ending when he jumps and he's holding the
fire hose
and then like it pulls down, he has to cut it or he's gonna fall off the building.
You're right.
That's a little crazy, but if you remove that scene, it is a
plausible-ish.
Right. I mean, he is a cop, so he is trained. Yeah, you know, he's obviously been in a couple scuffles. He knows how to fight. It's like, dude...
And he's brave and all that.
Yeah, the blonde-haired dude who's like the main henchman. Who like survives getting choked, and he was the one that the guy shoots in the end.
Yeah.
Was his name Carl on Family Matters? Is that why I keep calling him? Like, I'm going to have to look this up.
I know I've said like Uncle Carl.
No.
I know, but I'm just saying, like, I know I made a joke about that before.
Yeah, but I feel like he might have been Carl on...
That could be.
Give me 1 sec. I gotta.
Yeah.
Man, he was in so much shitty movies. You remember 12 Monkeys? That was a good movie.
Oh, that was great. Yeah.
You know, supposedly he lives around here.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I could see that. I'm not gonna
say where we live though.
Right. Yeah. Yes.
He lives around here,
Arkansas.
Yeah, we don't live there. I'm gonna pull this up because, he was Carl Winslow.
Okay, yeah. No, that makes sense.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
Oh, I keep bringing up Fresh Prince of Bel-Air.
I know, right?
There's something wrong with you.
Well,
I guess he was in Die Hard 2. I was like wondering why he was never in the sequels, but I guess he shows up in Die Hard 2.
I think I do remember that.
I barely remember Die Hard 2.
I watched
it like once, maybe twice.
I watched, like I said, I saw the original Die Hard in the theater. I probably saw it like several times in the theater. And then ever since then, I probably watch. I know I watch parts of it yearly.
I like 3. Oh, I think 3 doesn't get the credit it deserves. Like I said, 3 is like there's that scene when they basically it's like again you think it's like a revenge thing and they want to rob the place, but the guy is supposedly his brother or something like that.
Yeah.
Hans Gruber's brother.
Huh.
And he's like, I want to. Oh, that was it. The credit. I remember the trail. I want to play a game with John McClane. It's like, wow, that kind of rhymes a little bit.
Right.
He like
That's
breaks down into a rap.
Yeah.
But like he makes him do all kinds of fucked up things.
Right.
Like, one of the things he does, he makes him like wear a sign in like the Bronx, and that's when he meets Samuel Jackson. Yeah, he's like sitting in a corner, and I'm not gonna say it. See the movie.
Yeah.
But Samuel Jackson basically saves his life, and then he ends up like joining him on his adventure.
I don't think watching any of the Die Hard movies is a bad idea. But the first one, look, if you haven't seen the first
3,
one,
those
of course.
2 are not Die Hard movies.
No, they I mean, they echo
whatever
the
the mystique is. I wouldn't. It's not. I don't. It doesn't even make any sense.
Well,
I mean, it's like it's like Rocky if he fought in space at that point.
True.
It's like everything.
Freddy meets Jason in space.
I'm fine with that. At least.
Yeah,
No, I mean, like the funny thing is actually, I guess the good example is like if you looked at Rocky 1.
Mm-hmm.
Which is like really grounded movie.
Oh, very
Rocky
grounded.
2 is really grounded.
Pretty grounded.
And then 3 is where it starts to get a little ridiculous. Mr. T. But then by the 4th one with Drago, that's Die Hard 4.
Right, yeah.
It's like putting a character that was grounded and he's fictional, but made everything good about him. You put him in a fantastical situation, and it's like stupid. It's just dumb. It's like I said. It's like trying to think of an example of a movie where the joke is like, it's in space now.
Right, yeah. I mean, I think that's a trope.
Santa Claus, the movie 4, in space.
Yeah.
I guess that wouldn't really...
Well, you used to see that. I mean, this is kind of a stupid example, but you used to see that in like the 1950s and 60s shows where it'd be a normal episode, and then all of a sudden, like, you'd be like, oh, well, there's also now aliens in it or something. Like, here's the Great Gazoo, and it's like... Right,
This show that takes place in prehistoric times where people use dinosaurs for washing machines. I can accept that.
Sure.
When Mr. Gazoo shows up, the Great Gazoo,
that's where
check me out.
Consider my disbelief unsuspended. Well, okay. Let me rewind back to one of the first things we talked about when we talked about this is this idea that Die Hard is or isn't a holiday film, and I think we're on the same page where it's like. It was super funny 10 years ago, and now it's kind of like a tired joke.
Yeah.
I will
say something like lame dads say.
It is.
Oh my God, we're lame dads.
Oh shit! Yeah, well, I already knew that about me, but
everything I know is over.
I think it's something people say now to be clever about a movie when
Yeah.
they want to pretend that they know a lot about movies. Maybe they do know a lot about movies. But
yeah, you don't know movies like we do.
There are some interesting things in there. One of the things I'd read today was that they had that the last half of Die Hard, the soundtrack, was not supposed to be the last half. That it was the last half. They just put in a bunch of music to act as a stand-in when they were editing it.
Oh, that's funny.
And they were going to figure it out later.
And they decided to stick with it.
Yeah, and it's like. Music from Alien, the first Alien, and another pretty famous movie.
Oh, that's funny.
And I can't remember the other one, but like it's definitely one you would have heard of. And they were like, let's just put this in there, and then we'll run through the dailies, and we'll fix it later. And they were like, no, this is actually pretty good. We're not going to fix it. So there's that. But also another thing they used when you probably saw black screens in your version of the movie today. They did use jingle bells as a transition. Like, you would go from one scene to another, and you would hear jingle bells.
Yeah, like I said, I watched a weird version, and it kind of might have fucked with the movie a little bit.
I'll bet you they didn't, because...
No, I mean, like, the spacing, because it was meant for, like, commercial TV. It fucked with the flow of the movie.
Well, I watched, like I said, I've watched Die Hard a million times. I watched it again, the other day, and I didn't notice it. And then I read that, hey, they use jingle bells during transitions.
Oh, that's
I
funny.
YouTubed it, and it's true. Like, when you go from the scene of, like, hostages in the foyer to John McClane in an air conditioning vent or whatever, air duct, you'll hear, like, this jingle, 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 jingle.
Oh, that's
like,
funny.
And it's like...
Well, I mean, it takes place during Christmas time, right?
Yeah, and
So-
and there's Christmas songs in it.
Yeah.
You know, there's like that Run DMC Christmas
Oh
rap
yeah,
at
when
the
he's in the
beginning.
car, when he's in the with the limo driver.
Yep. Now, I will say...
Just thirsting to beat a nerd.
Right. Well, you could argue, like, this... I always thought what made a Christmas movie a movie was like some sort of thematic statement.
Santa has to be in it.
Well, like, look, we talked about Christmas Vacation last week.
Well,
which,
that's a literal Christmas movie. They have advent calendars to like break down each scene.
But
and
there was that one scene where they were talking
getting
about
a
the
Christmas tree in the beginning.
spirit of Christmas
Right,
and
right.
everything. And it was like, no, this is kind of like poignant, you know? And in this movie, okay, it takes place on Christmas Eve, and it's got Christmas music bookending it in the beginning and the end. And there's Christmas decorations, and there's a Christmas party. And it really is, John McClane just wants to go meet his ex-wife, or separated wife, or whatever. And that's kind of a Christmassy theme. Like,
Yeah.
I just want to be home for the holidays.
Right. It's like that movie Love Actually.
Yeah, well, yeah. Well, like, look.
And Carl, I keep calling him Carl from Family Matters. Well, he'll be, because it was a backdoor pilot to Family Matters.
Right.
He's
But
cool.
I think of, like, Planes, Trains, and Automobiles, which was a Thanksgiving movie.
Right.
All Steve Martin wanted to do was be home with his family.
Right.
And that's what made it like a Thanksgiving movie, is because it emphasized the importance of family and whatever. And here's John McClane. He's got
I thought you were
nobody.
say here's John Candy.
Oh, no. That'd be awesome.
Play straight to those. Now, what about Die Hard with John Candy?
Right. That's where my head went. Skyscraper's closed, folks. Moose out front, should have told you.
I imagine it would be several jokes involving his weight.
I think so too. But imagine like John McClane, and the whole reason he's in freaking Los Angeles is to like see his family, the only family he has left, and that's like a Christmassy thing. Like if you think about it, if you're willing to accept Planes, Trains, and Automobiles as a Thanksgiving movie,
The funny thing is, I never thought of Thanksgiving's a weird holiday.
Yeah.
In that it's like everybody in the United States like celebrates it.
Right.
We don't like. I mean, I know like when I worked at a company for clothing, I'm like, we need to make some Thanksgiving shirts. I'm like, no, where's fucking Thanksgiving shirts? Thanksgiving is the preview to Christmas. That's really what it is. It's like it's a lead in to Christmas, but it's a weird holiday. It's not a marketing holiday. So when you said Plane, Trains, and Automobile, like I don't think of. I mean, how many Thanksgiving movies are there?
one.
Well,
That's it.
there's probably more.
Yeah.
Actually,
sure.
it's funny thing. Christmas Story did make a sequel,
Oh,
and it was Thanksgiving.
Yeah.
Literally, I think it was
That's
like
funny.
a TV movie. No one gave a fuck about it.
Well, I know. Look, Thanksgiving was never a big holiday for me. I never cared for it. We did the traditional thing. We would gather up some blankets, infect them with smallpox, and donate them to indigenous persons.
Right. Well, that's how. I mean, if you really want to, celebrate it, classic.
Yes.
You tell people like we're
Right.
traditionalists.
Take their land.
Take them. We're traditionalists.
Yes. It was never a big deal to me. But like Amanda, my wife, Thanksgiving, like if I asked her to rank her holidays, I'll bet you Thanksgiving would be number one.
She likes pumpkin pie.
It's like her family and the and when I managed a psychiatric clinic for a little while.
It's like where it's going.
Well,
if you think Thanksgiving's great, you're clearly suffering from mania.
And I had a bunch of people that worked there, and I was in charge of making the schedule. And just psychiatric hospitals, they don't take like a day off. They're open 24 hours a day, 365 days a year.
People don't stop being nuts.
They don't stop being crazy. In fact, the opposite is true. They get more fucking crazy during the holidays. So and like everyone, and I was like, well, what do I do? Like I got to tell some people to work on Christmas. I got to tell some. So I put all the holidays down, and I said,
hey, what losers do we got working here?
No, I said, look, you pick one, and I'll guarantee you it off. Pick the one you can't live without, and I'll give it to you off.
Yeah.
And it was stereotypical. The younger kids pick New Year's Eve,
of course,
and the parents of new children pick like Christmas or Christmas Eve or whatever. But man, a fucking lot of them pick Thanksgiving, And ever since then...
Well, the thing is that, again today, Christmas is we forget this because, Christmas is the one federal, religious federal holiday.
Right. Yeah.
And it almost feels like, well, don't you celebrate Christmas? Like, no, I'm not Christian.
Right.
I'm not Catholic. I'm not.
Yeah.
Why would I celebrate that?
Yeah.
But everybody, if you are an American,
fuck yeah,
99%, even the contrarian people who say they don't.
Right.
It's like even the people who say who go on tangents about. And they're legitimate things about how fucked up the holidays or whatever its origins, how fucked up it is. They still celebrate Thanksgiving. Right. They just ruin it for their family. That's all.
Yeah.
If you are in Thanksgiving, so that's why I could see when you say that everybody, if you're in the United States,
yes,
you celebrate Thanksgiving.
We as Americans celebrate as a culture Thanksgiving, the 4th of July, and Shark Week. And that's
just fuck out of here. I was gonna say something. What was it? May the 4th be with you.
Yeah,
May 4th Day.
Yeah. Well, and honestly, probably what's becoming a pretty common secular holiday that we all enjoy is like Cinco de Mayo. That's
unfortunate.
Yeah,
that's like the. Wait, I'm
not
going to get into that.
Right.
I worked with a lot of people who couldn't stand that.
Oh, well, it is.
It's like they were Latino.
Expression
they were like,
of colonialism. It's like, hey, we're going to co-opt something. Yeah. Well, anyway, but if you can say, because when we started this, I was like, I always joked around about Die Hard being a Christmas movie. I don't do it anymore because everyone jokes around about it, but it's really not a Christmas movie. But now I'm like, look, man, if Planes, Trains, and Automobiles is a Thanksgiving movie,
it's a holiday movie.
Yeah,
it's like I said. But I think that another reason why it's not considered a holiday movie,
right,
is because when it was released. I remember it
it's
was
like
released
in June or something.
Yeah, and it's like I said, we saw Shazam earlier this year. The whole movie takes place during Christmas time.
Oh yeah,
they released it in April. They should have released it in November.
We talked about that in our Shazam.
But I think that they didn't want to wait another year, and Aquaman came out in end of November, early December last year. So they released Shazam in April, and I'm like, it's a fucking Christmas movie. If anything, they should have switched it to, and Aquaman should have came out in the spring. It would have went against Infinity War. So I know that they're not going to do that. But regardless. Thematically, same thing. Gremlins 1. I don't think did not come out Christmas time.
Right.
It's a super Christmas movie.
It's very
There's
Christmas.
There's a scene where a girl talks about her dad going down a chimney.
Oh, is that in Gremlins 2?
No, in Gremlins 2, it's something else. It was Abraham Lincoln. There was something at that point, it was played for laughs. They were okay, not her again.
Right.
It was some ridiculous thing. I think it was President's Day. It was a total joke.
That's
they made a third one. It would have been Arbor Day or something.
That'd be hilarious.
Yeah. So that is a Christmas movie. But it's funny how when a movie that people. And I'm wondering, too, when I say things about, streaming services and everything, it's going to kill movie releases. I think people in the psyche, and I could just be saying that because I remember it, I'm sure people who are 20 years younger than me don't give a fuck.
Right.
They, in their mind, they're they don't care when Die Hard came out. It is a Christmas movie because there's Christmas shit in the background. And it's funny because it's a dude's Christmas movie.
It is.
It's you could say that, it's Mom's got Love Actually, and the kids got Grinch, and Dad's got Die Hard. He could get his 6-pack in his fucking man cave after listening to 6 episodes of Joe Rogan.
Yeah,
and fucking watch Die Hard, Christmas movie. Right. This one's not for fucking pussy. This one is for fucking men.
Right.
Die Hard.
Right.
Yeah. That's how I sell it.
Well, I think you're right, and I think that's kind of obviously that's unfortunate because I think you're right.
And I want to take it back. A pussy is a very powerful organ.
Sure. Yeah.
And I acknowledge that. Squeezes out a child.
Yeah. Well.
So I take it back. I meant to say wuss.
Right.
Wusses don't do anything. Right? They don't have. That's not another organ.
No, I don't think so.
Clinically, that's
not. I think you're in the clear biologically.
Okay. Woo!
But yeah,
hashtag wuss.
It is. I don't know. I think Die Hard is. It is weird because it's obviously a very testosterone fueled film.
What's funny though is it is a macho movie, but it's not.
But it's not.
It's
right.
not Commando,
No.
where it's stupid and like it's just muscle bound guy Arnold, and he like
No,
the scene in the
he's-
shack when he just mercifully kills people.
Right.
No, if anything, I would say this dude is super vulnerable.
He's
He's like,
vulnerable.
and when he sees I'm gonna call him Carl again.
Yeah.
When he sees him in the end,
Right.
they like hug.
Yeah.
He's like he could care less about meeting his seeing his ex-wife or his current wife. He's just like,
This is the
like
guy,
when he's
yeah.
looking at him, and he's like, they're gonna hug.
Right.
He's like, we're friends. You know,
Yeah.
he saved my life, and then he literally saves him when that guy comes with the machine gun in the end.
It was, and even
It's
like
not a machismo movie.
No.
really. I
and
mean,
even when Harry was like talking his shit, trying to like negotiate with the terrorists, and Bruce Willis is on the phone saying like, "God, don't do this." You know, like there was even scenes where he's like, "Look, I just don't want, I don't want any of this, but I got to do it."
and I think that's what makes this one so good. And I know there's all these sequels, but it's like the same thing with like RoboCop.
right.
Or
Yeah,
like
yeah.
these movies where they make sequels to it, and I feel like the flavor of the movie was still there.
Mm-hmm.
I don't really remember Die Hard 2 that much. I only saw it like once or twice.
Yeah.
Die Hard 3 I actually enjoyed. But he still was, I mean, they were putting him in crazier situations, but the character was still like, and it almost still felt like you said, everyday man.
Yep.
Being thrown in an impossible situation. By the time they made the 2007 one,
Yeah.
it was just like Bruce Willis, like it's like all ego action hero. Now
Right.
it's like everything that made what those movies were great.
Was gone.
The layers, all the layers, they're just gone. And it's just this lame.
I would say the Rocky series is probably a good analogy or a good like comparison.
But not
point.
really, because Rocky 5, he goes back down to earth.
Yeah.
It's like Rocky 1, like I said, it's all grounded. By the time he gets to Rocky 4, it's ridiculous. And there was a decent... He didn't do a sequel right away. It didn't come out until like 89 or whatever. There was like a 4-year gap. And people were already... It's like... He didn't want to make that movie. He wanted to bring it back to Rocky 1. And the movie bombed, or didn't do it well.
Right.
Like, this people... I actually really liked that movie.
Was that called Rocky Balboa?
No. It was just Rocky 5.
Okay, yeah.
They did another one in 2006, and that one was called, like, Rocky Balboa.
Right, okay.
And then they did Creed. And I like Creed because the first one... I saw the second one wasn't that good.
I did not see the
The
second
second
one.
one's
I saw
like
the
on
first
Amazon
one.
Prime now.
Okay.
It's okay. Creed's great. The thing I love about Creed is that Sylvester Stallone's in it. He's not the true star of the movie,
Right.
but
It's the kid.
he's in it as a big chunk of it. He is like the Mickey role now. But
Yeah.
what I liked about it is that he is playing his age finally.
Yeah.
It's like, I'm like, this is what I want to see. I mean, I don't want you to be like an old fart senior citizen, but I don't want to see you playing, it's like you had those lame Expendable movies.
Yeah.
And it's like, dude, you're like 73. Like, I mean,
Schwarzenegger started playing his age, and it worked real well for him.
he's starting to, but he's still,
Yeah.
I mean, when he was the governor of California, that weird 6-year stint acting career he
It was
did as the
beautiful.
governor.
Yeah.
Ugh.
It was a kind of like a Shia LaBeouf.
that gif of him going,
Right.
whatever that gif of him when he's like,
It was kind of like a
his
nice
fans.
performance art piece
Yeah,
that lasted
when he
a
tried to
little
fuck
too
over
long.
the nurses union.
Yeah,
and
that was
great.
hilarious.
Yeah, hysterical.
Right.
He tried to privatize everything. It was great. It was the coup they did. No, but like that's why I like Creed so much. I was like, I thought it was one of the best roles I saw Sylvester Stallone doing in years. It was
Good
like,
one.
it's like he gets to like, it's like, dude, like embrace your age.
Oh, yeah.
Play the character.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like I think I'm going to disagree with you on that.
Yeah,
Rocky 5 was an attempt to bring back to his roots. It's like it's like, and the joke is like you had him go to Russia and fight. It was like a cartoon at this point. He was like fighting a robot basically at this point. And then it's like, what are you gonna do in 5? Have him go to space? And then it's like, no, he does the opposite, and he brings it back down to Earth. And the audience was like trained by that point.
Yeah, to look for...
I remember reading like all these rumors when I was a kid, like Rocky's gonna fight a Chinese boxer now.
Right.
Or he's gonna fight this.
Yeah,
it was like, it was ridiculous plots that just like.
No, you're right.
He's like, no, I'm going to do the complete opposite. I'm going to give my character brain damage, and I'm going to
Yeah.
like. So I actually respect that.
Well, when you put it that way, you're right. The two are very different in that sense.
So I think like Die Hard. What's funny is when you say like yeah, like, this is the Christmas movie for the dude.
Right.
But it really isn't.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like, I'm not saying there's more to it. It's a complex dude.
Yeah.
You know what? It's a dude that likes podcasts. You know, it's
Right.
like that. It's like that meme of the Hulk.
Yeah.
It's like listens to hardcore.
Yep.
And then he's like, oh, it's a rage monster
Yeah,
from like
yeah.
Hulk 1 and Endgame. He's got the glasses on.
Yep.
Listens to podcasts.
Yeah.
That's Die Hard.
Yeah. I would
Alright,
say
well.
so. All right. Well, I
And
guess
it's a Christmas movie.
Yeah, it is.
You know the part when he goes, Yippeekiyay, motherfucker.
Right.
Now it's time to talk about the real reason of the season.
Yeah.
Jesus Christ. And Hans Grip was like, what?
What? No, I'm going to call it a Christmas. I guess I've come full circle and say, like, this is a legitimate Christmas
Musical? Yeah.
Christmas movie.
Christmas music.
There's so much Christmas imagery in it. There's Christmas songs. It takes place on Christmas Eve. And the whole notion of it is, like, look, McClane just wants to go reconnect with someone. And that's a nice Christmas Eve.
Acceptance of the Lord and Savior Jesus Christ.
No, it's like a secular Christmas. It's like we talked about this last week. Like, we celebrate Christmas.
Who is Judas in this movie? Harry's Judas?
We celebrate Christmas in our house, but it's like in a pretty secular way. I mean, it's become kind of detached from religion and is more about, like, let's take some time at the end of the year before the new year begins and be grateful for one another and, you know, show each other how we appreciate one another.
Yeah.
And like, I mean, we haven't like formally thought of it in that way, but like, you know, we don't emphasize a religious aspect of it, but it's about like family, and that's kind of what Die Hard
That's
does.
what Die Hard was about.
Yeah.
You know? And about, it was
Kicking
also,
ass.
I think it was also an ad for a podiatrist.
Yeah, right?
Because, man, this feet get fucked up in that movie.
Well, yes, they do. But it's a Christmas movie.
But
I
you
mean,
know
like,
Jesus walked on water,
well,
and so did John McClane. He
yeah,
walked on glass.
true.
That looked like water.
I always kind of equivalent that with I always kind of I like equaled that with like Annie Lennox walking on broken glass.
They should have had that playing in the background.
They should have, right?
They should make it really to the point.
Right.
So
Right on the nose. But yeah, look, Die Hard, 100% a great movie.
Classic movie.
Yep.
And you know what? Like, it's funny. It's like people love that movie, and there's these other movies, and I know people see it. But does anybody talk about them? Like,
I
even
don't
like I
know.
said, I appreciate Die Hard 3, but I don't think, at the end of the day, it's all about just Die Hard.
Yeah, it is. Look, Die Hard was such a refreshing and new and original thing. And Die Hard and Die Hard 3 and
There were
whatever.
shades of it, and then Die Hard, the other ones are garbage.
They're fun movies, but like, I'm not saying like one is cinema, one is a movie, but like Die Hard, I think like I get the feeling like Die Hard was important cinematically. Like that was like a sea change.
A game changer.
It was.
Yeah.
It like changed the way we looked at movies and heroes and stuff like that. And it dominated the culture for like 10 years.
Blue
probably.
collar guy,
Yeah.
kind of working guy. You know.
And we still see that. We still see echoes of that in modern film. But, you know, like...
It's a movie I never want to see rebooted.
Yeah, that's true.
It doesn't even work. It's like... There's elements in the movie that, like, just don't work in modern day.
Right.
Same thing with, like... I mean, the funny thing was, like, a good example was, like, the new Halloween movie. that came out,
yeah.
Jamie,
Right.
The true
Yes.
sequel. Not the other true sequel.
No, not the other 15.
This one, the last one that came out like a year ago or 2 years ago, and one of the plot devices was like the daughter. You know, it's like everyone's like, well, you just got a cell phone.
Sure.
Or her stupid boyfriend does something to her cell phone, like drops it and like
Right. Okay.
So, and it's like, okay, she's fucked because
Yeah.
now she's gonna get chased by Michael Myers. But it's like you have to write that in. You have to write somebody fucking with your phone,
You have to.
because then somebody will say like, why just text somebody?
Yeah.
You know, it's like,
Well, it's tough. I mean, like it is kind of a challenge, I suppose, in the modern day to make movies that kind of adhere to
some
modern
movies
logic.
don't. It's funny how some plots now don't make sense or because of technology. Like, it's like it's almost like ruined movies, or they have to like the first thing they have to do in a movie now is the person has to lose their phone, or whatever their device, or have no Wi-Fi. That's got to be that has to be acknowledged right away at the beginning, or the suspension of disbelief is a lot.
Yeah. Otherwise, like, you don't know what you're looking at. You don't know what you're
It's
seeing.
like halfway in the movie, you're like, oh wait, I had this the whole time. Let me call
Yeah.
up.
Well, I don't know.
I'll just go on Twitter. Just tweet this. I'm being chased by Michael Myers.
Yeah.
Hashtag fucked.
Right.
Happy Halloween.
Yeah. All right. Well, that's Die Hard, right?
Yeah. I mean, again, it's like I said, it's an interesting movie. There's
Yep.
a whole series of them, and it's like, I think that's the difference between. I don't even want to bring up Star Wars. But the difference, like, there's successful movies where the sequel, it's very far in between. I think in horror movies it works, but like where even if there's like a whole series of movies, you could talk about like how much you love like Rocky 3 or something. Like that's one thing about the Rocky series works is like those other movies are just as memorable as Rocky 1. It's like Die Hard it's like there's 5 movies altogether.
Yeah.
I don't count those last 2. Those are garbage.
Right.
But the 3 of them, it's like, again, it's just all about Die Hard. It's like the same thing with like RoboCop. At the end of the day, it's all about that first RoboCop movie. You know, it's like, I mean, Predator was only like technically 2 movies. Or I know there was Predators. Ugh, that was terrible enough if you ever saw it.
No.
It's all about Predator. You know, it's like, it's one of those weird things. Like when we talk about, it's like, it's all about, it's just Die Hard. And that's fine.
Oh yeah, of course.
I just find it interesting though that there's 4 other movies and no one ever
checks in on it.
You know why? It didn't take place during Christmas time.
Yeah.
Did Die Hard 2 take place during the holiday?
I don't think so. I'd have to look.
Was it a Thanksgiving movie? Boxing Day?
Do you think A Nightmare Before Christmas is more of a Halloween movie or a Christmas movie?
You know, working in licensing, we talked about that, and the difference was if it was on an orange tea or a red tea.
Yeah, I'll buy that.
It's both.
Yeah,
it works.
Right,
both.
You're right. Yeah,
but you watch it before Halloween, you die.
Right. Yeah,
it's a little. Don't watch it before Halloween.
Well, yeah, and you definitely don't want to say Jack Skellington twice, like in the dark in your bathroom.
Or Tim Burton comes gets it.
Right. Yeah. And he brings...
I'm trying to think of like other movies like fall out.
Well,
is Groundhog's Day like really a Groundhog Day movie? Or
yeah,
is that...
It's funny because when I was thinking about this today, I was like, well, is that and like Groundhog's Day? I mean, that's not like a holiday with like significant meaning. So like you could probably put Groundhog's Day on Christmas and you'd get a Christmas movie out of it, but like.
Yeah, when they pull Jesus out of the ground,
right?
And if he sees his shadow, then what?
1,000 Years of Darkness.
1,000 Years of Darkness.
We should move on from this.
Okay, I'm not gonna go into it. Okay, yeah. So I don't know what else to say about Die Hard. I mean, it's
a classic film, I think.
Yes, it's a classic film.
Right. So what are we gonna do next?
Okay, so. Got a couple things.
Right.
So, I know we did a thing on Watchmen.
Yes.
And the last episode's on this weekend.
Yeah.
So, maybe we could do a...
Oh, I like this, yeah.
But, here's the thing.
Okay.
We got Watchmen.
Yep.
Episode 9.
Yes.
But I think we're going to do... So, we're going to see the movie that Thursday.
Right.
And we're just going to release a reaction thing. So this is going to be our first, and we're going to release it that Thursday night.
Nearly live.
On the 19th.
Yeah.
So we're going to release it. So Jessica's going to try to leave as many racial extras out.
Right.
So good luck.
Yes.
And then, the funny thing is it's the same night as the Democratic debate.
Yeah, yeah.
So I was thinking... maybe we'll see how the debate is, if it's worth even talking about.
Oh, yeah,
One thing I do like about it is going to be less people at that one.
Yep.
That will be a later date. We'll see. Because it's like, those like political ones and everything, it's like if you don't get them out within like first couple of days.
They got to go quick, yeah.
I mean, not like we're trying to compete with any big net.
No,
obviously we're not trying to compete with anybody, but it's just the value gets lost of if there's something amazing, we'll talk about it.
Sure.
And then I was thinking though the last episode of the year
should
be almost like a recap of the whole
I like
year,
this, yeah.
where we talk about like
All the movies we talked about and
and maybe we try to find out the hidden mystery of why we're in like the top 10 in the Czech Republic. Maybe
right.
we could do some investigation work.
I like it.
Maybe go out there.
Right.
Be treated as gods.
Well, if we do it in December, we can write it off on our taxes next year. So I think that's a great plan.
Well, no, technically they should pay for us to go out there,
right.
and then it ends up just becoming like Hostel 3
or
whatever. And I don't want that.
No,
I don't want to do that.
All right, well that's exciting. I think that's a good plan.
That's really exciting.
Aside from the hostile stuff.
Yeah. Well, we're not.
Yeah, we got Star Wars coming up.
Mm-hmm.
We could
Episode
cover the
9.
debates if we need to.
If we need to. Talk about Watchmen when it's over.
Yeah, absolutely. All right.
Or Baby Yoda.
Oh, fuck. Always.
I mean, I just talk about him anytime. I mean, that's pretty much it. You know what? It's just Baby Yoda, man.
Yeah.
I mean,
right? It's his world.
He's the new opiate. He's the new Jesus.
Right.
He's the. You know what? You could start a cult with that. Anyone who says that they don't like him is a liar.
They're a liar.
They're a liar. That thing captures everything.
Yeah.
His little ears wiggle.
Oh, so
wiggle.
emotive. And his little hands.
His little hands. They try to do things.
Right.
Whole soup. When he walks.
Yeah. You know what?
Little cozy.
Yeah.
You know what's funny? I talked to my wife about this.
Right.
And I said, like, and that's why it's like almost like Muppet Babies.
Yeah.
Because it's like, why is he wearing... So Yoda wears these, like, in the Empire Strikes Back, Return of the Jedi, he's wearing like his little robes.
Sure, right.
And then like in the prequels, he's wearing like a cleaner version of it. It's like maybe they got ripped up or whatever.
Right.
I don't know. He's living in a swamp for like 20 years. So it's like, where I live in swamp, dishwashing machine, hard to get.
Right.
So how come Baby Yoda has literally the same color scheme outfit? It is literally like a baby version of
that's funny.
Yoda's outfit, except it's like cozier. It's like
Clothing.
it's like a little baby version. Like it's like the little cuffs are soft and like it looks like a cozier version, but it's the same. It's literally it's the same outfit.
I don't know. I'd have to say it.
I didn't think about it too much.
Yeah.
I think too much about it.
All right, I'm gonna think about that a lot tonight. That's unfortunate.
Like, why is he? I mean, I don't expect him to wear like blue or like different colors.
A little flight suit.
A little. Oh, that'd be adorable.
That would be
a little
amazing.
sailor outfit. Or, a little Lord Fauntleroy.
Yeah, I like it.
A little onesie with a little teddy bear, with a little tongue sticking out of the teddy bear.
Yep.
It's.
No, I like it.
Like, why is he wearing a soft, cozy version of Yoda's outfit?
Yeah.
And I just
clone.
Clearly clone. Come up with your own fashion sense.
All right.
Well, I guess this was another Christmas episode.
Yeah, I like this one a lot.
So we'll close it out probably with whatever Christmas thing you're going to do and the magic machine.
All right.
I'm Rob Israel.
I'm Joseph K.
And you still going on about
that.
Thank you for listening to You Still Going On About That. Please like, comment, share, and if you haven't done already, please follow us on Instagram, YSGoat, Facebook, YSGoat, and Twitter, YSGoat. Thank you, and have a great day.